I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up! Good morning and thank you for once again for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. This is a show where we talk about fitness related content from a home gym perspective, and we get your live reactions to the topics that matter to the home gym community. Sometimes a little bit off the wall, sometimes it feels like a tangent, but I promise it all somehow or other relates back to the home gym lifestyle at the end. And we have a lot of fun along the way. Our channel is designed to be like a magazine, and the best way for me to explain this show to you is if this were a magazine, this show is the feature story or the cover story. It's the thing that made you pick up the magazine from the rack at Walmart or wherever people buy magazines from nowadays. And we hope that this is your first time, that it makes you keep on coming back over and over again, and that you will share the link to the show with other people, and that you actually hit the like button and hit subscribe, because we want to make you part of the family. Okay. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and add my lovely wife to the stage. And I guess I could tell you, I'm John Greaves III. I'm the co-founder of Garage Gym Life, and this thing would not be possible without the next person I'm about to bring to the stage. Here we go. Hey! 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 All right.
Morning.
Morning. So this is my lovely wife, Naomi. You guys make sure that you subscribe to her YouTube channel at Naomi Harris Greaves right here on YouTube. It started out as home office channel, and it's probably going to morph into more of a lifestyle channel, like a lifestyle channel of someone who works from home rather than just a channel that's about working from home or something like that.
Something.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and before we check out who's here in the live chat, Naomi, you want to tell everybody what's on the menu for today's show?
Sure. So
All
for
right,
today's rundown, at 6:05, we have news and other things with me. We're going to go over DJI's release of the Osmo Pocket 4. Since Home Gym Con might as well be Osmo, an Osmo Pocket convention, and we talk about what's different with the Osmo Pocket 4 versus the Osmo Pocket 3. Then we're also going to go do an overview of the hotel gym at True by Hilton in Savannah, and then content create a meet and greet during Home Gym Con, John's deload week recap, as well as John's adjustable bench hack for overhead tricep extensions. And then, of course, everybody's favorite segment is at 6:45, the Recliner Rage. Then in the second hour, 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central, we're going to shout out to Bobby Hunt. And then in the final hour of the show at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, we're going to recap my triathlon. How did I feel about my results? What did I do to recover this week? And then looking ahead to my next race. Oh, you're muted.
I was like, all right, thanks, Naomi. I was like, I feel like a real anchor man. All right, so let's go ahead and see who is in the building right now. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think this is like the second or third week in a row that, nope, it's not. It's the second week in a row, because Letha was the first in the building maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
I think so.
But 2 weeks straight, we've got our guy Carlos. He is first in the building.
Carlos.
He said, "You got the notion. It's poetry in motion. Wake up, wake up, wake up." Okay. All right. He's woken up and he's hooked on his wordsmithing. All right. Let's see. Trevor said, "Let's go," and I know that's crispy bacon, Trevor.
No,
I know that's crispy bacon.
no, we do not
Hey,
believe in impaling ourselves in the roof of our mouth.
I've never
Thank you,
impaled myself
Trevor.
on anything in the roof of my mouth, and crispy
Awesome.
bacon is not a dangerous. It's not a crispy bacon. It's not a weapon that works against me. Okay, I just all I do, DJ Khaled, all I do is win. Uh, Sean from Colonial Barbell Club, he says, he's talking to them, I guess. He says, "Morning, gentlemen." And
Morning, Sean.
Jared says, "Happy Friday." Got his coffee ready.
Good morning, Jared. And I join you with the coffee.
There's Letha. She says, "Good morning, friends."
Hey,
Thank
Letha.
God it's Friday. Letha, I need to send you a text because I need to get a status so that we can follow up on that project we were talking about. And if I need to follow up, yeah, I'll just send you a text. All right. And Carlos said, "Here we go." Yeah, I said that like Kim.
Oh, yeah.
that was the dad of one of for youth football, and I guess high school football later on. He used to. You could hear him all the way across the field.
You can hear him down in the parking lot.
Here we go.
Yep.
All right, it's officially Friday. That's right.
Yep.
And here we go. I knew the hate wouldn't be long starting. Said Naomi and hey John. There we go. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
I think the funny part is that was how we felt with our kids growing up. It was like always, and they would go by the name. Oh, and then they're the parents. It's like, exactly. we were just, their Uber before Uber existed. So
let's see. Oh, hey, look at that. Uncle Brian has showed up. He says, "Morning. What's up, man? What is up?" Here we go. Okay. Said get it on. Carlos said get it on and popping because that bacon be flopping. And I'm gonna say stop it. Okay. I'm gonna say stop it. The only thing popping is that grease when I hop that bacon in the oven. Okay. There you go. That's it. There is no flopping under my bacon. All right. Anyway, only thing floppy is a disc, and we don't even use those anymore. All right, let us jump right into the first segment because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Time for and other things. All right, guys, make sure that you, as we're going through all of our topics, that you guys are posting your questions and comments in the live chat. If you're watching on replay, shout out to the replay gang. Go ahead and put your responses to the questions and just add to the conversation by commenting. Okay, so that's a shout out to you because I know Joey Echeverria is going to be in the replay gang. All right, so Sean D. Choi, I know you're going to be in the replay gang. You guys go ahead and post your comments. All right, we want to hear from you about all the stuff we're going to talk about today. All right, so first item is that's the question of the day. So let me go ahead and throw that on screen because this is actually sparked by me thinking about your triathlon while you were asleep on the way home. All right, I was just thinking about it. I said, it's actually, I was thinking thoughts, right? So let's go ahead and throw it on here. So, question of the day, and let's see. I can't remember what we decided about, like where the best spot is for it.
I think the bottom left corner works well.
Left corner. All right, bottom left corner. Well, I'm trying to make sure that there's nothing in the way because I know that on the right side of the screen, when you're watching on YouTube, on the right side of the screen, I think it's the right side of the screen, there's a subscribe button that can obscure some of the stuff that's on the thing. So I just want to. So I'm always like keeping that in mind whenever I put stuff. It's never right there. Anyway, that's a little bit more inside baseball than y'all care about. So, question of the day is: which one are you most likely to compete in? A sport where lifting weights is the sport. So, powerlifting, weightlifting, Olympic lifting. All right, y'all know what if you do weightlifting, you know what I mean by weightlifting. So, powerlifting, weightlifting, strongman, CrossFit, and I would say maybe Highland Games as well. Or are you more likely to compete in a sport where lifting weights is part of how you prepare for the sport? So high rocks, triathlons, and just about every other sport that you can think of. It's lifting weights is more like part of the GPP for it, the general physical preparedness for it. So are you more likely to compete in that, or are you more likely to compete in something where lifting weights is the actual sport? All right, so go ahead and put your comments in the chat. If you're in the replay gang, just reply to the pinned comment. All right, so let's go ahead and I already know your answer, Naomi.
Well, it kind of, so
here we go. It kind of depends. All right, I want to hear
yes,
it. Go ahead.
it kind of depends because pre-lifting, it would have been only, sports where I didn't have to lift weights, because it was mainly cardio focused. But with this go around with my journey and doing mostly lifting, I think when we were at HFA and we were at American Barbell, they were challenging those to come. They wanted to deadlift, and I actually wanted to. It's just that nerve of like, I don't want to embarrass myself.
Go ahead.
But I'm like, would I be interested in maybe a powerlifting down the road? Sure. So it's
Okay.
While I lean more toward the multi-sport, would I want to try one with powerlifting? Yeah. So it'll be like a 70-30 at this point.
Okay. Oh, let's see here. We got Lakeisha Laster. What is up? Look at that. Normally she's in the replay gang. Look at who is here live and in color. Lakeisha, what's going on? She said, good morning. All right. Boo said, I'm down for both of them. That's right. Trevor, you know what, Trevor? I am actually going to be giving you some praise a little bit later on. But right now, I'm like, Trevor is always like the contrarian, where he's like, I'm done competing. I didn't say, are you going to? I just said, which one are you most likely? If you had to choose one, and they say, okay, you don't have options. His option C wasn't on there, right? So option A or option B. I'm like, which one are you more likely to do? Just for that, I'm gonna pick your answer, and you're more likely to do a sport where lifting is the sport because he used to compete in weightlifting. All right. Carlos said, GPP for me, lifting weights is what gets my day started. There you go. Boo said, I'm going to try one more time to see what I can do in strongman.
Sweet.
That is, so I'm thinking like, would that be like this year, or are you going to, or are you still kind of trying to figure it out? Yeah, like, do you have like a show already, a competition already in mind for this year? Or is it like, you're going to use this time to get ready and then try to compete next year? Sean said, I'd say powerlifting. If I'm going to win or fail, I want it to be on me. Okay. I can see that.
It's kind of like with wrestling, when the boys decided they wanted to go ahead and do freestyle wrestling, they wanted to do a sport where it, even though it was team, it was when you get on the mat, that was what you did or didn't do was on you kind of thing. So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Boo said he's taking my advice. Okay. I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So it's essentially that the answer then is he's gonna get ready and then then do the competition once he's ready for it. Not set a competition and then train for it. Instead, it's get ready and then train.
Okay.
And then pick a competition. Kind of like what you did. Get ready for it, and then say, okay, now let's pick a competition.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and he said he's going to build up for a year and compete at 58.
There you go.
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. All right. And I actually think this a little. It's not on the rundown, but he just made me think about it. Is so he's getting ready to retire, right? Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, he's Boo's getting ready to retire. Boo's my brother, so he's getting ready to retire, and he said, and we were talking about the thing that holds us back a lot is we say you don't have time to do this or that, and you were like, okay, well, you're constantly having to cram work. I did what I could, and then I had to leave and go to work, or I got what I could after I got home from work. I was really tired, so I couldn't, all this stuff. And it's always work or whatever is involved in it. So, well, what happens if work is no longer the obstacle? And I was just talking about how one day I just got mad at Daddy. I wasn't at his house. I was driving down the road. Yeah. Because he doesn't lift weights. And I was like, man, that dude, I was like, you know what? I really like it just hit me. I said, you know what? He's retired. I think I just got off the phone with him. And I was like, it hit me. It's like, he's retired. He could lift weights and be exhausted and just go lay down and go to sleep. I'm like, and then he don't have anywhere to be. I'm like, it's like, I was like, I got so mad because he wasn't lifting weights. I'm like, you could thrash yourself. You got nowhere to be. Like, okay, cool. Great. And I was like, well, what if instead of retirement being like, oh man, we look at all the negative stuff, it's like you realize, oh, now you finally free to do the things that you wanted to do that you were limited on doing when you were working, right? It's like, oh shoot, it's kind of like, you know how like part of the reason why teenagers, if they start lifting weights, they tend to gain because their parents are paying for all their food, and a lot of times they don't have jobs. If they're under 18, a lot of times they don't have jobs because they can't work. I'm not talking about when we were teenagers. I'm talking about nowadays. People can't. People can't.
They have plenty of rest. They didn't have to do all the work.
Right. They don't have to work. So anyway, I'm just saying it's one of those. It's one of those things. I said, well, retired people have that too. They've got, hopefully the house is paid for, and they also have they don't have anywhere to be. So there you go. Anyway, Kevin said, thought about Ironman once since I already finished a 42.2 kilometer a couple times. But bodybuilding is just a true love of mine. Not going to change. Maybe I'll compete in bodybuilding. LOL. Well, I mean, both of those are things where lifting weights is GPP because you don't lift weights on a bodybuilding stage. You lift weights to get on a bodybuilding stage. Either way. Actually, hang on 1 second. Let me because they're saying that my mic.
You sound like it's opened. It's not closed, so I don't know.
Well, I'm using a different cable, so I'll be muted for a second. So go ahead and just do the other comments, and then I'll be swapping out my mic real quick. Okay. I'll give you the big screen.
Okay. So then the other comments. First of all, Carlos, you said shots fired. No, thanks for the heads. Thanks for letting John know. I thought it was just me. In listening, but it could be just the cables. But the other, let's see, Kevin, you also said, and the question of the day too, because bodybuilding ain't a sport. Doesn't matter if they call themselves athlete. LOL. I think it is a sport because you have to, and maybe it's just me based off of what I've seen on vlogs, for those that do bodybuilding, but you guys have, you have to keep track of your nutrition. You have to keep track of your water, your exercise. There's so much that's involved. It's not just lifting weights and then, you look good on the stage for competition. I think there's a lot that's involved in order to compete in that sport. But maybe I could be wrong, but from what I've seen in other vlogs that talk about, preparing for bodybuilding and the competitions that are involved with it, I think I used to think the same thing when it came down to like, not so much gymnastics, but like cheer. And I've seen the work that's involved when it comes down to cheer competition. And it's like, okay, that is actually a sport with what they have to do with all the gymnastics involved. But let's see. Carlos said, and I can't share the comments on the screen like John does because he's the one that has the control for the admin part. But Carlos also says, sometimes I think it should get a trophy just for me. Could that be a sport? You know what? Depending on the day, I think that we all get a participation medal on that one. So,
right. Is this better?
Talk again because you kind of sound a little low.
Is this better?
Yes.
All right. So yeah. Inside baseball once again. I switched back to the original cable that actually came with this microphone. And because the cable that I'm using right now was the one I used for the last 2 weeks, I switched to that cable because it's a USB-C. And then I switched back to the original cable, which is a USB. because I was like, wait a minute, this is not even the cable that came with it. Let's switch back to the original cable. And yeah, so there you go. I fixed it by unfixing it. All right. So it said bodybuilding is not a sport, is what Kevin said.
Which I already said, I think it is.
Yeah, because you were saying that you couldn't put it up on screen. So I'm like, all right. Yeah. And then now Carlos wants a trophy just for waking up. Feels like a participation trophy to me, but you know, all right.
But you know what? With the fact that we are on this side of the dirt, we won. We're still winning. So
I mean, yeah, that's true. So Boo said the people don't think it's a sport, have never tried it. Now, I will say this. My problem with bodybuilding being a sport, and I still remember when they used to argue about this in magazines all the time, because the bodybuilders wanted to be called athletes. And the thing is like, in every sport, the actual activity happens. Well, okay, in bodybuilding, most of the activity happens off the field. It's like you're in the weight room lifting to prepare. And then it's like you go on stage and you kind of just there, right? But I think the thing with bodybuilding is, in the defense of it being a sport, is you are flexing the entire time you're on stage. You are exhibiting muscle control. You are having to, like, the entire time you're flexing. And apparently, I didn't realize this until started, you know, I started making friends with some of the bodybuilders who came to the gym. Like, they're doing a fair amount of elbowing, kind of like you do in basketball down in the paint. Like, they're elbowing to try to get in, because you want to. And remember when we were watching, our friend Julia was competing in physique competition, and we're seeing the people elbowing
because they're trying to get into a better position to be seen,
right? So that they can flare out. And it's like, yeah, because there's only so much room on the stage, right? Yeah. So they're elbowing each other. So it's a little bit more aggressive than you would think. But yeah. Let's see. Jared said audio is back to goodness. Hey man, that's my mission. My missions. Okay, anyway. And let's see. And let's go ahead and take this poll question off of here real quick. So let's hide the poll. All right. Back to the comments. And B, good morning. She said, sounds way better, John. I appreciate that. Thanks, B. All the way from Chicago. And Kevin said, posing for other people on stage. And sure, agree to disagree. I'll just tell you what some of the argument is. Like, I would say nobody can say it's not difficult. That's the difference. It's kind of like when people say, well, is NASCAR a sport? You're just driving. Well, yeah, but it's a lot more difficult than just driving, you know, commuting to work, because of the strength and reflexes it takes and all that. Whereas it's like bodybuilding, you're not just standing there, but you're kind of just standing there. So whatever. Oh, now my voice, my milky flow of my voice. Wow, that's amazing.
Oh boy, here we go.
Do you see how you hit the jackpot, Naomi? Because you get to hear me talk all the time. All right. Yeah. Trevor said, tell Ashley bodybuilding isn't a sport. I'm sure she'll change your mind. I mean, I don't know. I think it's one of those interesting philosophical discussions that's better to do where you're going to debate it, and the people who believe one way are never going to agree with the people who believe the other way. So it's one of those things you can argue about it. Because I watched people argue about it in magazines for like 10 years, and nobody ever convinced anybody else. Dang, here we go. Ashley's like, she said, Trevor, bodybuilding is a sport. I came in late. Okay. All right. And Ashley said that the sport of bodybuilding is the journey that leads to this stage. Okay. Right. So that's what I was saying. It's like most of the active stuff, the lifting and all the stuff that's interesting to us, that's interesting to the general public, happens off the stage. So it'd be kind of like if so you play basketball, it'd be like if practice was the most interesting part of the entire thing, right? But
the thing is again, it's the mental and Ashley jump in and but again, for me, watching bodybuilder vlogs on figure competitor vlogs, and even talking with Julia, it's, you know, it's the mental and the discipline that's involved to get you to, because you're now seeing the after effects of all of your commitment and your dedication. You know, triathlons, you can't keep, like, yes, you work out and whatnot and you train, but you also have to, with the length that you're on the bike or with the swim or with the run, you can't have any kind of listening devices or headphones or anything like that. So you have to be mentally prepared for those kind of competitions. And so, I mean, just the work that's involved, from what I can tell, I would say, yeah, it is a sport.
Okay, so I realize that there's a certain element of me being devil's advocate,
I know.
but I also will say,
the contrarian.
Yeah, Trevor's rubbing off on me. But all right, so think about it like this, right? One thing I'll say, by the way, is I think bodybuilding is one of the best ways to prepare for every sport. There's a limit in how far you need to take bodybuilding training in terms of your preparation for the season of your sport. Because after a certain point, you need to kind of like change things up. But I think that bodybuilding, if you do it correctly, is one of the best ways to prepare yourself from a rehab, prehab standpoint. Bringing up, I mean, if they tell you you need to put on weight for the, your receiver, wide receiver, they say, hey, you need to put on weight for next season. Okay, well, one of the best ways is bodybuilding. Same thing with the assistance work for a lot of the other strength sports. It's pretty much bodybuilding, right? That being said, if you look at what you actually do in bodybuilding, it's essentially the same thing you would do at a photo shoot. And nobody would say that a photo shoot is a sporting event. So because of that, it's the same thing. You go through your poses. Heck, it might even be 2 or 3 of you in the photo shoot. All right. It's the same thing, right? So I once again say that for every argument anybody can come up with for why it's a sport, I think there's a counter argument that somebody come up with for why it's not a sport. And I think at the end of the day, it doesn't. What matters is that people recognize that it's a very difficult thing to do, and it's not. And also, I also say, this is another argument for it being a sport. I'll say is that genetics plays a huge role in it. So like you got to have the best genetic. If the people with the best genetics tend to do better at it. So that, see, like even within my own sentence, it's like I can say both ways. So it's like, all right, whatever. There we go. We convinced Kevin the journey is hard. There you go, Kevin. All right, yeah. All right. Jonathan is a No Fake channel. Check in and smash that like button and hype this. Hey, I appreciate you. And you know what? That reminds me. I need to ask. So you guys who are in the replay gang, do me a favor. Hit the hype. Hit like and then hype the video. You get about, I think, 3 videos. You can hype at least 3 videos a week on YouTube. Please make this video one of the ones that you hype, because that does a whole lot to help get the word out and make the algorithms share the video with other people. All right, appreciate that. Who said it's not an Olympic sport, but I do think it's a sport. He said if they could do that stuff with the broom and the plate, whatever it's called, that's a sport. Come on. I mean,
wait a minute, curling is a sport.
Again, it's because it's, so if you look at the definition of a sport, strictly speaking, you say, oh, well, but you're moving athletically. Okay, well, in bodybuilding, they're like, well, yeah, but you're moving athletically because you go from one pose to the other and you're you're flexing your muscle. Like I said, they argued for like 10 years in the magazines and they never came to a consensus. We're not going to fix it. If we did fix it today, we'd make history, because we ain't going to fix it today.
I enjoy watching curling. Now you say, he wants to make jokes about that. I like curling. I can watch that instead of cricket.
I mean, curling versus cricket, or bodybuilding versus cricket?
No, curling versus cricket.
Okay. So Ashley said, I've done several full marathons and bodybuilding prep was mentally and physically harder for me. Oh, yeah. I mean, but that's the point I'm making. I'm like, I think one of the things that happens when people say it's not a sport is people conflate that with saying it's not difficult. And that's not true.
No.
You can there are all sorts of things that are difficult that aren't a sport. but I'm just saying it's probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest thing to do in athletics. I just don't know if I can't definitively say that being on stage under the lights is a sporting activity. Yeah. All right. And here goes Boo calls and try. He said, "Strong man's better though." And now, look at him. He said, "Don't give in, Kevin." Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Now I'll be talking to Ashley said I'll be talking to Jake about a home gym con bodybuilding show and posing clinic for you, John. I am not gonna be on stage in a banana hammock, but thank you for thinking of me. No, let's see here. Carlos said Kevin chose to end the argument by saying you're right. Ooh, dang, yeah. Kevin said, "Nope, I'm not. My opinion stands. I freaking love and breathe bodybuilding. I dream of my program, the next mesocycle. I get sick if I don't work out. No, it ain't a sport. It's hard, but no, not athletes." Oh, here we go. Seahorse racing.
Yeah, that's an inside
seahorse
joke.
Race. And he said, he said curling is just mopping with skill. Okay. Cleaning is a sport, Carlos said. So training equals. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Hey. I didn't even notice that Eric is here. What's up? He said mopping with skill. That's it. Eric echoes. All right, I'm done talking about whether bodybuilding is a sport. We're moving on. All right. That wasn't even like that. That was just a question of the day.
And oh my God.
And we're 30 minutes in. All right. So this is real quick, hopefully. The question today was going to be quick. I've been wrong before. So DJI released the Pocket 4, the Osmo Pocket 4. And if you're watching this and wondering why a program that's about home gyms and home gym content is talking about a camera, because Home Gym Con, I looked around and Home Gym Con was an Osmo Pocket convention. They either had Osmo Pocket, the Osmo Pocket 2, or the Osmo Pocket 3. All right. And now there's Osmo Pocket 4 that has been released. So I said, well, let's just talk about it. Really briefly, because I don't have a ton. First of all, we don't have an Osmo Pocket anything. Well, we got the Pocket 3. We don't have the Osmo Pocket 4.
Right.
Naomi and I both have the Osmo Pocket 3. But I'm going to go ahead and do this.
Because see, I'm on their website.
That's right. First screen share of the day, Naomi. All right. You know what that means. The people get what they want. Vote again, vote often. All right. Anyway, vote early, vote often. Vote as often as you can. All right. So you said you're on their website and you don't see it, right?
I don't see it.
Aha. I'm glad you brought that up, Naomi, because it is not available in the US. So when we were at the triathlon, remember the lady
the inside,
and she's giving me all this information. She said, yeah, it's not available in the US. So, however, I was able to tag it in the shopping button. So those of you who want to check it out, you can go click that shopping button that's below this video and it'll pull up the Pocket 3, the Osmo Pocket 3, and the Osmo Pocket 4. So you have options for buying it. That being said, it's technically not available in the United States. So what I had to do was go to the DJI website and switch my location to the UK. And that's how I was able to pull up the Pocket 4. It's right here. So you see the price of now, of course, it's in UK money, but I will say that basically the Osmo Pocket 4 is the price that the Osmo Pocket 3 was until the Osmo Pocket 4 came out. So there was a price drop. So you'll see if you're just getting the Osmo Pocket 3 by itself, it's gonna be about $400, whereas it used to be about $1,000. And then obviously if you get the creator combo, it's gonna be even more. So the things that I saw, I watched several videos on it. So differences. So the Osmo Pocket 4 has increased battery life. And I'm just naming the things that stood out to me. First of all, there's increased battery life. Let me open this right here. it's got, well, it doesn't have kids running, but I guess, yeah, it doesn't have all that. I'm trying to find a picture of the actual device. There we go. Yeah. All right. It's got 107 gigabytes of internal storage. So you know how, like with the Pocket 3, you got to have an SD card. With the Pocket 4, you don't have to have an SD card. So if your SD card is full, for example, which happened at Home Gym Con all the time, because one of the things you saw content creators do was going to swap out the SD cards. And the other thing you saw us all doing is going and charging our battery. So the Pocket 4 has increased battery life compared to the Pocket 3, and it has built-in internal storage, so you don't have to have an SD card. Something else that I really like about the Pocket 4 is whenever I'm using the Pocket 3 and I have face tracking on, so like if I'm using it to try to like shoot to record us like a superset or something,
right?
When I lie down on the bench, the face tracking loses me. So face tracking stops. With the Osmo Pocket 4, it has improved tracking. So if it loses your face for a few seconds, it won't. It continues to keep tracking. They've also added. They've improved the zoom. When people who watch everybody who watches your vlog about the triathlon, I shot all the B-roll with all of the footage I shot with the Osmo Pocket 3. And there are places where I zoom in because I'm like across the pond, creek, whatever, from you. And I try to zoom in, and all it does is make it grainier, right? So you lose it tends to lose the sharpness. Well, there's an improved zoom and improved focus with the zoom on the Pocket 4. Apparently it's got gesture control, so you don't have to like use your phone to control the camera.
Oh, okay.
And then they've got a custom button, and you can just you can set the custom button to be whatever you want. So you can use that to toggle to like lock the screen. You can use it to toggle between like the gimbal and the the other mode.
You can have it set to your preferred settings and that
mode. Yeah. So you can, but you designate this. It's just a miscellaneous button, and you designate it to what you want it to be.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so it's one of those things. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. It said internal storage is cool, but is it expandable? Yes, so the internal storage is not expandable, but you can have your SD card and your internal storage. So the internal storage is a backup. Or it's also for one of those times when you don't have, not saying any names, but when somebody runs downstairs to video and forgets the SD card upstairs. All right. And I know, yes, I said I'm trying to do better, but anyway, but it's good for that. And let's see here. Let's see if there's anything else here. I will say that the thing about the custom button, so you can use it to like lock your gimbal, would be good for me because running. So I was running with the Osmo.
Right.
Never noticed it before, but if I'm running with the Osmo and I was tracking you at the same time, well, that throws it off. And so it lost you a couple times, and then I have to like reacquire you while running, which was interesting, right? But with this, you can just toggle and fix it. Like so to lock the gimbal basically so that it locks on the target, and then so it's not like rotating or anything like that. So yeah. Now, like I said, there's one positive side effect of the Pocket 4 is that the Pocket 3 price dropped. So half of what it was before. Now here's some negatives, and these are the deal breakers for me. There's no hard case for the Pocket 4.
So like the cover that comes over it. Because see, we don't keep it because we have a different case. Okay. It's not a deal breaker.
It's a deal breaker for me because I keep mine in the hard case. I know you don't, but I keep mine in the hard case. And then the batteries and other attachments, so like your batteries for the Pocket 3, they're not interchangeable. They will go on it, but they won't be recognized. So, so you got to buy everything again from scratch. Who wants to know, is it good for recording my singing? The Pocket 3's is decent, but they said that the Pocket 4 actually has better audio quality, because they said that it would be the one that you would use if you wanted to record a concert. So I would say potentially you might want to go for the Pocket 4. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm trying to see this. Oh, Carlos said I should use my Canon V10 more, but the lighting is terrible in my opinion. They also said that the Pocket 4 has better, to that point, it has a better filter for lighting. And that's something that I would need to, because when I watched the videos, the review videos, the video quality looked similar. So I'm like, I don't want to spend a ton of money to replace something when the Pocket 3s are already doing a pretty good job. Because most of the filming we do is going to be in the garage, and the issues we have with lighting and overexposure and stuff, they're not going to be fixed by I don't know if that's going to be fixed by the Pocket 4. So yeah, but anyway, so like I said, you can click the shopping button and kind of look at the Pocket 4 if you want to see if it's a good fit for you. And what every reviewer said though was, if you don't have either one, if you've got the Pocket 3, they said there's no need to upgrade to Pocket 4. But if you don't have either one, they said just go ahead and get the Pocket 4 and just start with that. I would say, however, if you're somebody who drops your camera or whatever, then I would say go ahead and go with the Pocket 3 so you can get that hard case. But then again, you also, I would assume that they're going to be aftermarket hard cases that'll come out. So that's another thing I didn't think about it.
The other thing is I know that you can live stream with the Pocket 3. Like you can use that as a webcam if you connect it. Because I know that I did see a question about live streaming, and you can
yes,
with the Pocket 3.
With the 3 and 4. Yep.
With 3 and 4. Okay. Cool,
you can live stream to the 3 with the 3 and 4. So basically what they try to do is just improve the Pocket 3. So the capabilities are all there. Same capabilities. It's just that I don't know if the improvements are big enough improvements for the way that we use it to justify the expense. But if I didn't have either one, then I would say, yeah, just go ahead and get the newer one, because the support for the newer one is going to be there longer. Right. So there's that. Kevin said I need that low light for the HGG after hours. There. So Kevin, we've already had our conversation about home gym gains after hours. You desperately need to change the name of that. All right. I just feel like he's gonna show up in a robe, in a silk robe to do, and yeah, nobody wants to see that. Okay. Hey, Matthew Porter says, good morning, y'all.
Morning.
Carp said, too bad my Pocket 3 was a tariff Pocket 3, double the price. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So if you get when I looked at the Pocket 3s in the shopping button, they literally were like $400. Now that's not with the creator combo and all. It's just a Pocket 3 by itself, but it was literally $400, and I think it's about that. If you look on Amazon, especially if you've got an Amazon business. Carlos said the videos are predominantly shot on well-lit areas and settings that should show more basement gym footage. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The thing for me is I don't know if the Pocket 4 camera is able to compensate for the lighting well enough for it to justify. To me, there's not enough difference between the Pocket 3 and the Pocket 4 to upgrade. But if I didn't have either one, I would get the Pocket 4. There. All right. So now moving on. We are at 6:45. So let's go. I'll just do this real quick. So this is something that because you didn't really get to go in there because you were busy. But this is our overview. I did an overview of the hotel gym at the True by Hilton. So that's what it looks like in there. That video is right now available on our channel. in the members only section. I don't remember. I mean, it's going to be public at some point, but I don't remember when it's going to go public. I know it'll be in May when it's going to go public. So, but meantime, you guys can just check out, see what they had available. So they had the treadmills. I wasn't super impressed with the treadmills as far as giving you something to do while you're using them.
I think we got spoiled by the one that you experienced. We went to HFA, where you had the.
Great. So, okay, here's my objection. They've got the treadmill set up facing the mirror. So if you want to watch TV, you got to watch TV backwards. But then there's nothing. Yeah. But then there's nothing to do. There's nothing on the screen of the treadmill itself. And it doesn't really connect to like anything on your phone or whatever. So it's like there's nothing to do on the screen, but you basically got to be facing the wall, right? But if I want to watch TV, I can just look up and it's just everything's backwards. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. But yeah, this is.
Do they have all the weights?
Yes, all the weights were there. It goes. In fact, I think the first thing I checked was whether or not they had all the weights. It only goes up to 50-pound dumbbells, but when we were there, everything was there. The thing, I'll go ahead and I'll tell you guys, because I go into more greater detail. But the one deal breaker, or the one thing that I didn't like, is I could not find the cleaning supplies. And if I couldn't find them, I bet you nobody else could either. So I couldn't tell you when the last time that yoga mat that you guys are looking at was cleaned, or anything else in that facility. I don't know. There are towels, but I don't see. Yes, I looked in those cabinets before you asked. I looked in the cabinets, and I
Is
didn't
it one
see
of those like Lysol white kind of?
Not just the regular towels. Just regular towels. So there weren't any Lysol wipes. I didn't see, as the kids would say, I didn't see Nan spray bottle. I see Nan spray. I see Nan spray bottle. Anywhere filled with anything. I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Came back to the room and jumped in the shower. I was like, no.
Well, instead of taking the dumbbell weight, I bet you someone took the cleaning solution, maybe.
Oh, that's nasty. That's ugly. What? Okay. Yeah, that's horrible. Let's see. Yes, that's why. Yeah. Carlos said, because Carlos is watching. He said, "Yeah, there's no cleaning supplies." I'm telling you, I didn't see any cleaning supplies at all. This is a Pocket 3, Pocket 4 thing. So the thing about that we like, so the Pocket 3 and the Pocket 4 actually will take pictures, like the phone will. But the thing that we like about it is it will follow you. So you set it down, your phone ain't gonna follow you. You have to kind of set it in just the right spot. The Pocket 3 and the Pocket 4, you can set it down on a tripod and it will follow you around. So you don't have to keep on changing the position. So that's the advantage there. He said they're trying to build up your immunity too. Oh, okay. Hey, yeah, I guess. Even my germs got stronger. Okay. Tetanus shot. I'm just telling you. I was like, yeah. Carlos said, bring your own spray bottle. Hey, look, I'm just telling you. Had I knowed. Okay, had I known. Shout out to the 1,189 of you guys who are watching. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe. I run into people all of the time. This is no joke, right? You expect me to say it, but I run into people quite often who say, "Oh, we watch your show. We love your show." And I'm like, I've never seen you comment. All right. But I get it. Sometimes you feel like, hey, I just want to watch it on TV. Or I'm listening to it in the car. I get it. But do me a favor, when you pull over, if you're driving on the road, don't have a wreck because of us. But when you get to a safe stopping place, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe, because the channel, we need the channel to grow. And that's one of the best ways to grow. And then if you've already done all that, please share this video with somebody who you think would enjoy this kind of content, especially on a Friday morning. We're trying to help you guys get your Friday started. All right. It is now time for Recliner of Rage. Naomi, I bet you would resonate with this Recliner of Rage here, but if you need a jet, because I know you want to, you got to take, get ready to take Nora, and then you circle back, and we'll do the segment of the triathlon recap. So
all right.
All right. See you in a little bit.
See you in a little bit.
All right. That's my lovely wife, Naomi. She shall return. All right. It is now time. Okay, we got a couple more comments. Yeah. I say I'm soft. Hey, I'm telling you. I'm just telling you. All right. I did not see any spray bottles in that gym. All right. I just didn't see it. Okay. I just didn't see it. Carlos said the Steady X3 phone holder from HaHim. Okay, that sounds so much like Temu right now. Makes it possible to get facial tracking. I'm just telling you that sounds like a lot. I will also say that for me, having a Pocket 3 is better because I use my phone to track my steps, my step count, and it's basically what matters more to you, because I guess I could get this phone holder to use my phone for the tracking or whatever, but then I'd have to get like some sort of like Apple Watch or bracelet or whatever people are using nowadays to track their steps. And for me, it's easier to just use my phone to track my steps and use the Pocket 3, especially since I use the Pocket 3 for other things too. Because we actually use the Pocket 3 when we go to things like Home Gym Con. As somebody said, Carper saying that Mike had the Pocket 2, and he said gear goes by fast. Yeah, I'm telling you, Mike had the Pocket 2, we had the Pocket 3, and that was just last year. He still had the Pocket 2 in 2025, and now we're looking at the Pocket 4 already. So yeah. All right. So let's go ahead. It's time for the most popular segment. This is a short one today. I just want to crash out for a second. All right, let's go. It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, because he's not happy.
All right, so today's Recliner of Rage is dedicated to the gnats biting flies. They might have been sand fleas. I don't know what they were, but they hovered around me the entire time I was standing there waiting for Naomi to be done. So let me back up. When the race first started, we go over there and we're waiting. They're explaining the rules or whatever, right? And we're at this pond, right? And everybody's going and getting in the water. The people in the race anyway, they're going and they're getting in the water, and they're kind of like Naomi, like they're wetting their goggles so the goggles will stick to their face better. They're kind of like acclimating themselves to the water temperature, all those things, right? So we're waiting for them to do all that, and we're also waiting. They're getting instructions. They did the national anthem, all that kind of stuff. I almost said the Pledge of Allegiance. They did the national anthem, all that stuff, right? Well, while they're doing all that movement is stirring up these bugs, right? So then they go dive in the water and they take off, and we're just waiting for them to come back, right? We can see them, but we're just waiting for them to come back. Meanwhile, these insects are just having a buffet, all right? I mean, I still have, in fact, I just talking about it made me itch. So I got bite marks on my hands, on the back of my hands, bite marks on my calves, bite marks on my quads, because I did not know. So I did not know what the venue was going to be, because when she said we're going to Savannah, I thought it was going to be on the beach. And I've been to the beach in Savannah with Naomi, and we didn't have any issues with bugs, right? But it was not the beach. It was a glorified swamp. And so I show up there, and I'm just telling you, I got eaten alive. And so I got attacked by animals on last Saturday, and I am still scratching the bites today. Okay. It's not like bad, but it's just annoying. So I guess this wouldn't be recliner of rage, it's recliner of annoyance. What is recliner of rage is the fact that they didn't say anything about that in the race information. Okay, they didn't say, hey, make sure when you come out there, you bring, bug spray or something like that. Nah, that's I mean, this is like, this is multiple years they've been going to this place. So they know those bugs are there. They knew the bugs were there. They didn't feel like it was important to let us know that the bugs were going to be there, especially those of us who are going to be there for the first time. I could tell, I could see it if like this was my second time being there, because the next time I go there, if we go there ever again for any reason at all under the sun, I'm going to be deep woods offed from head to toe. Okay. But this was my first time. And I feel like that race could have done a better job of saying, hey, those of you who are going to be sitting there just waiting during the different parts of this event, you might want to bring some bug spray. Okay. So that's recliner rage. Because now, because they didn't feel like that information was important for me to have, I am now I'm scratching my legs and the back of my hands because I got bit up by bugs. That's recliner rage right there. Okay. All right. That's it. I just wanted to just get that off my chest, get that out. I just wanted to mention that. That may sound like a small thing, but I'm telling you, and it's not like we could go anywhere because, again, we're a captive audience because we're waiting for we're watching. I mean, we're standing. The swim part was the worst because we're just standing there. It's mud and everything. So we're just standing there. And as each racer comes out of the water, they get the bugs excited all over again. And you just seen the bugs just swirling up around you. You could see them. We look like that dude from Charlie Brown, Pigpen, who had the flies. Every one of us had a cloud of these gnats and biting flies around all of us. God. Anyway, okay. Hi, 10 out of 10 worst experience of 2026 so far. Thumbs down. I hate it. Just gonna say it. That's it. Thumbs down. I hate it. Hate it. Hated it. All right. It is now 7 o'clock, and shout out to the Central Time Zone. It's 6:57. Close enough. Shout out to the Central Time Zone. We appreciate all of you for starting your Friday by getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. We are heading into the second hour of the show, and it is time to do a shout out to someone that most of us who have been creating home gym equipment content for any length of time are very familiar with, and that is the legendary Bobby Hunt. If you don't know who Bobby Hunt is, just keep on creating home gym content, and you will find that he will introduce himself to you. All right. So the way that I met Bobby is he made a comment on a video that I posted featuring the Mikolo F4 power cage. So at the time, let's see if I can find that video. Let's see if I can find it. It was I still had my Dynabody rack in the background. And it was and Bobby basically made the point. He was like, he said something to the effect of, there's no way that you're going to be honest. Well, he actually made a couple points. He said, there's no way you're going to be honest about this rack because I know they sent it to you for free. So that's the first thing. Second thing he said, remember, this is my first time ever having any encounter with him. Second thing he said was, there's also no way that I'm going to believe that you're actually using that rack when you've got, so it was the Mikolo F4 power cage is a 2x3. Yeah, I think it's a 2x3 rack. Maybe it's 2x2, but I think it's a 2x3 rack. And it's 14 gauge steel. He said, there's no way you're going to get me to believe that you're seriously using that 2x3 14 gauge steel power rack when you've got this perfectly good 3x3 11 gauge steel power rack right next to it. Because again, like I said, I was putting the rack together. The video was me putting the rack together, and the my other rack was still there, right? Because I hadn't gotten rid of it yet. And I mean, so I I answered him. I don't remember what I said to him, but I think from what I remember, I don't remember exactly what I said to him. But from what I recall, it was something to the effect of, "Look, I just got the rack, and I haven't gotten rid of this one. I just got this one in. Yes, I did get it free, but I'm pretty much gonna I can't tell you what I think of it yet because I haven't even used it." And I was like, basically just give me a chance. All I've done is put the rack together. So there you go. And I can't find that one. So what I think is awesome is that Bobby took the time to comment again after he watched the video. And I'm going to screen share what he said because I thought he showed a lot of integrity that you don't always get. So this is 2 years ago. So this is 2024. And he said, and I think he actually deleted his first comment, which is why I can't remember. And I'm trying to remember something from 2 years ago that he said, right? But he says, "I wrote my first comment before I watched the video. Let me say after I watched, nice review. For a review on this free rack, you did great. We know the game. You did right. Those safeties, J-hooks, dip bars, and pull-up bars are listed at a weight capacity of 350 to 400 pounds. Nice job, man." And I said, and so what he's referring there about the weight capacity is I said, I couldn't find, I didn't know what the safeties and stuff were listed at. But I said, to me, there's no way if you squat 500 pounds or more, you should be using this rack. And let me just scroll up here. So this is the rack right there, right? So in fact, he may have commented on, so you guys can see my Dynabody rack is over there. And he's like, there is no way you're going to make me believe that you're using that when you've got that 3x3 rack in the background. But I just thought he showed a lot of integrity when he said that he hadn't even watched the video when he posted his first comment, right? So then he actually watched the video and he came back and said, you know what? I was wrong, right? So, hey, talk to you later, Carp. Thanks for stopping by. Carp's called him Bobby the Book, the novelist. Yeah, Bobby writes, he puts a lot. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, my brother said he's out. I'll talk to you later, man. All right. So anyway, that was the first. So that was like 2 years ago, right? Now, that didn't mean everything was all good. I'm going to tell you something else Bobby said. Like I said, this is a legend right here, right? So then I did a review on the Major Fitness. It was the Major Fitness F22 Raptor, their first version of the F22 Raptor. They had offered, so with Major Fitness, they were Major Ludi at the time. They had reached out to me and asked if I would do a review of their, I think it was the PLM03, and I said no. I told them I'd rather do the F22. And my reason for that is a lot of people had already reviewed their other rack. I didn't see any point in me reviewing it also. I said, but if you'll send me the F22, I'll do it, right? And let me also say too, at this time, I had been getting a lot of flack, which kind of affected my my interaction with Bobby, because I was getting flack from people because I was saying like racks like the Mikolo F4, the Major Fitness stuff. I was saying that there's no reason to buy those things, that they're cheap racks that are not worth your money. And people would always say, have you tried them? And I'd be like, well, nah, but I can tell when something's garbage. And people would, and not just them, not just those racks, but they were like, people were coming at me hard, like, hey, you can't say that this isn't a good rack because you've never tried it. I said, all right, so I'm catching flack. All right, fine. I'll go ahead and I will go through. I specifically on purpose said, all right, I will go through a period of time where I do budget racks, right? And because we don't have a ton of room in here, that meant I had to get rid of my Dynabody rack, which we had bought in 2008 used. And I went from that to the Makolo, then to the Major Fitness, and I think after that was the Marcy, so on and so forth, right? So I did like budget racks for a while. That's when Jared was telling me that I had commitment issues. But that's why I was going through these budget racks, because I didn't want anybody to ever again be able to tell me I hadn't tried a budget rack, because now I'm out of the budget rack business, and yeah, I'm done. Anyway, so back to what Bobby said when he was like, I did the Major Fitness Raptor F22, right? So this time he put a comment on it, and so this time he at least watched the video first. And it's not like, you know, Bobby's the first person to ever make a comment without watching the video first, but this time he watched the video first, right? And he made not one, not two, but four separate comments where he was flaming me, right? So again, this is 2 years ago. He said he said 190-degree tensile strength. I don't know if it's the bar that I was talking about, but he said the diagram says 750 pounds, because I started just putting the diagram up on screen like, hey, this is what the company said. This is the weight capacity of the brand of the thing. Because I was running into this now I was doing the budget racks, and people were like questioning everything I'd say. I'm like, okay, well, fine. This is what I'm not making this up. This is what the brand says it's supposed to do. This is the capacity that the brand says it has. So he was like, there's no way. He said, if it's got 190 tensile strength, it should have a capacity of 1,200 to 1,500 pounds. The diagram for the bar that you showed says it's got a 750 pound capacity. It can't be both. So which is it? You say it's a 30 millimeter diameter shaft. The diagram shows 28 millimeter. Again, it can't be both. He said, you dropped the ball on this video, and usually I halfway trust what you say, which is better than how I feel about 98% of the reviewers. Like, okay. That led to an entire back and forth, because I said, look, Bobby, as I told you at the end of the video, this is me just opening up the box and telling you what they said the product is and what it's supposed to do. I reached out to them and asked them about the differences between the website and the product, because what I was reading was what was on the paper on the that came with the product. But then I put on screen numbers from the website. I did reach out to Makolo to Major Fitness after I had this exchange with Bobby, and I said, and then I reported back, said, look, I reached out to them. They told me the numbers that I told you. I thought about not including the diagram, but that's what's on their website. And to be honest with you, there you go. Go ahead and get me, Carlos. I said, I'm not 100% happy with the discrepancies, but I decided to save all of that for my actual review, not for this video, which is just the first impressions. And I said, like, I never told anybody to buy this. All I said is, this is what it is. It's what it's supposed to do. And I'll tell you what I think of it after I've used it for a while. I was like, there's no way. And I said what I say all the time. I said, there's no way in good conscience that I can recommend anything to anybody that I have had in my possession for less than a week. So he was coming at me about a first impressions video I did, even though I said it was a first impressions video, right? And he said he didn't like that. He said, well, if you save all the cons for the actual video, he said people would have gone and bought it by then. And he just went through. He said, sorry, man, I can't take you seriously anymore. And there's more. I mean, I'm talking about, you can see like all this, boom, 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 right? And I said, look, man, I can understand why you're upset. We went into he told me that there weren't 17 holes. I said there's 17 holes in the power rack. He said there aren't 17 holes. So I actually had to do a YouTube Shorts video where I showed that there's 17 holes, right? Like we were just going back and forth. Anyway, and in fact, then other people jumped in and they're like, they counted. They're like, yeah, there are 17 holes. I said, yeah, man. I said, look, you know, it's I can count. You may not agree with my opinion, but I can count, right? So he kind of like explained a little bit. So he had like other things that he didn't like about it, right? And I don't want to get too sidetracked on this. All I would say is that at the end of the day, he did comment on the follow-up video I did, which compared the two videos to each other. Okay, so I compared because I still had, when I got the Raptor F22, I still had the Makolo, right? And so I did a video where I compared the two of them against each other. And Bobby came back and said, now that was a great, honest review. I remember when you first got the Mokolo, and I was surprised to see you actually using this type of rack for your training. These budget companies make decent stuff, and it's okay for 75% of people. You, in my opinion, for your training and being a top-tier influencer, which I thought was hilarious at the time, given how small my channel was, he said, you need a legit 3x3, 11 or 12 gauge steel rack. In my opinion, you could use the cables on one of these as your functional trainer, but these are never going to give you the support and freedom you need to train the way that you do. You're too advanced to have one of these as your main rack. Then he listed a bunch of companies I could go to get a better quality rack. He said, I enjoyed your video. I'm sorry for giving my opinion, but you just don't look right with all the weight that you lift working off of these racks. Take care. All right. So we had a little bit of a back and forth. And then he said, and yeah, so we came to an understanding. Let's see here. He said, you were honest. There are not many left like you. He said, just Gluck's Gym and Home Gym hacks and reviews that I've seen. There may be some other honest guys I haven't seen. Just be careful on the budget racks. Take care. I was like, all right. I felt that was progress. Okay. Why am I telling you guys this? My point really with saying all this is, so Carp said he was gone, but he's still here. Hey, I'm glad I pulled you back in. He said they were called Major bad word for a reason. Changing the name was a good call for them, but we can't forget they were called Major Duty. That's right. Changing the name was a good call for them, but we can't forget the other name. He said hopefully the products improve with the name change. And Carlos said, I'll take it. He caught me on the to be honest. Yeah. And he said 60% of the time, I'm honest all the time. He's I like Tommy's new line. I'm biased, honest. I'm biased, but honest. Yes. Stay safe out there. That's right. So I felt like that was progress, though, because Bobby's like, we got to the point where we may not agree, but we at least can have a dialogue, right? And even though some of the stuff that he was objecting pretty hard to the things I was saying in the videos that I showed you, he was still not like there wasn't any name calling. There wasn't insulting on either side, right? But I would say that Bobby is a classic example of the YouTube commenter who can sometimes come off as pretty abrasive. But like I said, we have good dialogue now. Even if we don't agree, I believe there's mutual respect because he does now praise the channel for its integrity. He even drops nuggets from time to time. Like he explained his method for calculating big weight on Mailbag Monday a few weeks ago. I talked about calculating. He saw me using my calculator to calculate how much weight was on the bar, and he said, "Look, I got a good way to do it in my head, and this will do it for you." He said, so he taught it, and that was just in the comments, right? So it's not all arguing, is what I'm trying to tell you. So why am I telling you this? There are two reasons. One of which is because I don't know if all of you guys know this, but like I said, Bobby has most people I know who are content creators and who've been doing this for a significant period of time have had, let's call it run-ins or encounters with Bobby Hunt online. Last week in the comments on 10 days ago, not this past Monday, Bobby in the comments on Mailbag Monday told me he's been fighting cancer and he was scheduled to undergo surgery. Let me pull this up real quick so you guys can see that. So this is on the one where it's Mailbag Monday. Can you trust people who review free products? And right here, he says, so 10 days ago, Bobby said, having colon cancer surgery. Wish me luck, man. I'm scared bad. That was kind of like a shocker, right? Because most of the time we only talk to people talk to people in the comments, and a lot of times we forget that they've got a life outside of their keyboard. But so, and I knew that Bobby had told me that he had like some other health issues, but they were like, okay, injuries he had sustained in the gym, just life, right? He's not a young dude. This is the first time he mentioned anything like this. And the fact that he just, because like, there wasn't anything that led to this comment. He just felt comfortable coming on that video and posted a comment about this because he knew that I would pay. Number one, he knew I would read it, and he also knew I wouldn't be a jerk about it, right? I guess it takes a certain courage to say something like that openly, and to just say, look, like to say, I mean, he says, I'm having colon cancer surgery. Wish me luck, man. I'm scared bad. And when you think about how my interaction with Bobby started to getting to 10 days ago, him being willing to say that, to me, that's a big deal. So I said, oh man, prayers for speedy recovery, Bobby. What day is your surgery? So it was Friday afternoon, this past Friday afternoon at 3:30. And he says, I have cancer and the docs won't give me any pain meds. The world is upside down. I've been on a liquid diet for months. It's been a horrible year. And so I said, prayers for your healing. I'll be praying for you this Friday. Let me know how everything turns out. So let's go back. So think about this, man. If you are a content creator, it's April 24th, 2026. If you are a content creator and you've had a negative or confrontational interaction with Bobby Hunt in 2025, he was probably on a liquid diet by then, battling cancer already, fighting for his life. To put it in even more perspective, while Naomi and I were on the road to her triathlon, the doctors were fighting to save Bobby's life. He was going through surgery at that time. So if you've gotten comments from Bobby where it felt like he's coming at you, you got to understand that this cancer thing was part of his reality back then. Now, I do have good news. Because Bobby reported, I don't know why he didn't just come back to the same video and comment, but he watched a new video and he said, this is on the video of where Naomi's showing the new rack, the new Synergy Custom Fitness rack with all the dumbbells on it. And Bobby came in and he said, hey, bud, love your new dumbbell setup. Dumbbells and rack are very sharp. He said, a lot to my procedure, but in a nutshell, got out of my surgery and doc said he got it all. I'm so lucky. It was bad and I had 50-50 because they didn't know how much it's grown or if it spread until they got in there. Thanks a million for caring, man. I'll never forget you and your support. Always on your side, man. You got a real heart. Stay gold. So there's that. So let me stop sharing that. That's why I told you. That's why I said I called this segment shout out to Bobby Hunt. I know that people are jerks, man. I know that there's jerks online, but that right there kind of like was just like a wake up call to me. Like, hey, everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through something. No matter how much they are, no matter how much they're aggressively attacking you or whatever, everybody's going through something. Everybody. Jared said, God bless him. Hope he's doing well. Yeah. I've been doing this long enough now that, earlier this year, I did the tribute to Muscle and Mirth, to David and Sherry. Sherry had passed away before, and then we found out that, and I just found out recent, like this year, that David had taken his life back in, I guess, July or something like that. But I've been doing this long enough now that people who I've had interactions with online have passed away. Some of them have, were older people, and so it's just, they lived a full life, and it's, their time was up. But still, that's still a life that's gone, right? And I think it's really, really, like I said, it's really, really easy to look at all this stuff that we do and the interactions we have and just be like, and you just forget that everybody's got things going on, right? I don't even really know how to, like, I'm kind of like unpacking it with you guys right now because I haven't unpacked the whole thing in any way. I've processed it a little bit. I mean, I did drive back like 5 hours, Naomi, while Naomi was sleeping from the triathlon. So I processed a little bit, but I didn't know what the outcome was until Monday. And our weeks are a whirlwind, so I kind of didn't have time to process everything anyway. So I'm kind of processing it now. I'm just saying it's like, it was just, in this situation, I'm kind of more looking at the journey of going from somebody like attacking, or like what I felt like attacking me because of a power rack, to feeling comfortable with letting me know that he didn't, when he made the comment, he didn't know if that was going to be his last comment ever, because he's going to have surgery. He didn't know if he was ever going to wake up. And he took the time to say something about it to me, to somebody who's on YouTube, who's never met in his life. That kind of like showed me the impact. Yeah, I know the impact, but it's showing me the impact again. I don't know if this makes sense to y'all. Honey D said, prayers for Bobby. Fighting cancer is hard emotionally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Not being on pain meds because how it slows down the colon and causes constipation is probably why there was no meds. Okay, see, I didn't know that. I'm glad you shared that, because it didn't make sense to me that they didn't. I figured they had a reason, but I didn't know why they wouldn't have him on pain medication, especially when he's been, he was dealing with it for months. I'm like, just think about it. Like, we're not talking about like he's in pain for a day or so or a week. No, he's been in pain for months, and already had other injuries that he worked around when he's training. And in fact, part of the reason why, because I've had conversation with him, part of the reason why Bobby is such a stickler for like safety and all these other kind of things is because he's gotten injured in training. And he's gotten injured, I believe, outside the gym as well. But he's gotten injured, just like I say, he's not a young man. So he's got some of that mental scar tissue, so that anytime he sees somebody doing something, he's like, whoa, you might get hurt. Because his biggest motivation is, and he said it in multiple comments to me, is what if a young kid saw somebody telling them to do this, watch this video. If a young kid watched this video, is it going to lead them to go doing something that's going to either get them hurt or make them spend money that they don't need to spend, like make them waste their money, right? That was just crazy. I don't know how you guys react to that. I don't even know, like, if anybody else has ever, like, we've got content creators watching right now, like Sean, Kevin, Ashley. I don't know if you guys have ever had anything like this happen, but anybody who's watching the replay gang, shout out Jonathan, all you guys. I don't know if any of you have ever had this happen, but this is just really, I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared for that. It's not something that I ever anticipated dealing with, because it never occurred to me that somebody would be like, I feel comfortable telling somebody who I really don't know because he only knows me like he's never been to Home Gym Con, right? I've met a lot of you guys who are watching now. I've met a fair number of people at Home Gym Con, or at least I might have said hi at least, right? Bobby's never even done that. He literally only knows me from the videos that he's watched, right? So maybe out of all the footage he's watched of us on this channel, maybe it's like 5 hours combined of snippets from of my life that really are focused on what I think about a piece of equipment. That was amazing to me. So anyway, I just wanted to say shout out to Bobby Hunt, man. Now the second reason I brought it up, I'm going to talk about later on when I tell you guys what I learned this week. Okay. But right now we're going to go back up. Well, first we're going to do a quick look at my favorite barbell. And then we're going to talk about some of the other news items that we ran out of time for in the first segment. All right, so let's go ahead. This is my favorite barbell, and let me show you why.
This is the Bare Naked Powerlifting bar from Bells of Steel. I have used a lot of bars since I started lifting weights in 1993, and this bar has got to be one of my favorite. I have loved this bar since I first saw it at Home Gym Con in French Lick in 2023. I saw it, tried it, and I had to bring it home with me. It's a bare steel bar, so I said, let me see how well it holds up without any maintenance done to it. And when I say zero maintenance, it still has a blood mark from where I hit my forehead when I was getting set up to squat one day. And I left it on there because I committed to do zero maintenance on it just to see how the bar would hold up, and it has not disappointed me.
All right. I am a huge fan of that bar. It is my favorite bar for squat, bench, and overhead. Well, squat and bench. It's my second favorite bar for overhead press. And if you guys would like to grab it and support the channel at the same time, go ahead and you can either click the shopping button that's under this video, or you can click the link that is in the description for the video. Either way, you're going to be supporting the channel. If you click the link that's in the description, it's going to be an affiliate link that'll take you to the Bells of Steel website. And you can go ahead and grab it. You can also, while you're there, look around and grab anything else you want. It'll support the channel. And I love I'd say maybe 99% of the products on the Bells of Steel website, I would without hesitation have in my home gym. And we've actually got a lot of that stuff. So I'm not telling you to grab stuff that I haven't, in a lot of cases, actually spent our own money for at no discount. So once again, you click that link that's in the video description, you'll be supporting the channel and you'll be getting some cool gear for your home gym. If you want to go the shortcut, just click the shopping button that's under the video. Okay. And let's go ahead and move on to the next item. We got a comment here. Carp said, my Bells of Steel deadlift bar is on the way. So I'm interested to hear what you think about it, man. Right now on the Bells of Steel deadlift bar, the number one thing that stands out to me is I'm able to use it up to probably about 400 pounds without. Actually, I've pulled 405 with it without any chalk because the knurling is that good. It does have significant bend, so it is a whippier bar, and I've also used it for one other thing. I'll explain in a little bit greater detail later, but I've also used it for standing press, and it took a little bit of getting used to, but it wasn't bad for standing press. So yeah, I think that's a solid bar. Honeybee says sometimes it's easier to tell folks you're scared because those closest to you are already worried about losing that person. Says you show you down to earth and you make people at ease. I appreciate that. My goal with this is So like I'll tell y'all, so my family teases me about being an influencer or whatever, and I realize that by the technical definition, yes, I am. I give people advice. I mean, heck, people text me all the time and ask me about stuff that, like, did you, what they should buy or whatever, right? But I shy away from the term influencer the way that most people I feel mean it, because to me, I'm just a regular person, right? I still got to pay my mortgage. I still screw things up, whatever, right? So I never want to feel like I never want to put myself on a pedestal and feel entitled just because I have figured out the YouTube algorithm and how to use Google ads to grow an audience. That doesn't make me. It's kind of like when people ask an actor what they think about some world political event. I'm like, this person has the skill of memorizing stuff and making you believe there's somebody else. That doesn't make them an expert on science and or world politics, right? So it's kind of like, to me, it's like, I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm just still me. But I appreciate that that comes through, that my heart comes through in that way. Like, I don't think I'm better than anybody else. And Jared says, John, did you get those cable handles from Bells of Steel with the bearings for your cable tower? You mean the fat handles? Yes, I bought them. I bought them. In retrospect, I probably could have gotten away with just one, but I bought two, just because I didn't want to have a situation where I wanted to do something that required two and I only have one. So I was like, I'd rather have two than, if necessary, at some point I could always sell one of them if I find that I really don't need it. But yeah, I went ahead and I bought two of them, the fat handle ones. Let me see in fact, let me go ahead and let's just confirm that this is what you're talking about. Is this? Let me share my screen real quick. All right. If this is what you're talking about, yes. I bought two of them, and I just haven't gotten around to doing a review of them. They're just downstairs. I've used them, but yeah, I bought two of them, two of these. If this is what you're talking about. If this is not what you're talking about, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer the question. All right. Let's see here. Where we at here? Sean says same. I'm assuming you mean about the staying down to earth. And yeah, I think that's really important. It's one of those things where I think that there's way too many people who get to a certain level in this and they start to kind of smell themselves a little bit. And I, maybe to a fault, I tend to go the other direction to try to continue to make myself accessible to. So like basically people who had my number before I had 100,000 subscribers still got my number and they can still text me. They can still call me. Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to. We used to have a saying when I was younger, acting brand new, right? I'm not trying to act brand new. Echoes said my Swissies X are arriving tomorrow. First piece I bought for the gym in a long time. Oh golly, the Swissies, those are those handles. Golly, they're Kensui handles. I think. Let me pull these up here. I've never actually used these. They look interesting. Look at that. Y'all see this, right? Whenever I see this stuff, I just wonder, like, what did the like they put out a call for models or whatever? Like, what did the dang call sheet say? Like, what did this guy think he was going to be doing when he showed up and auditioned for this? What did he think he was going to be doing? Oh, sorry. Sorry. I can't stop laughing. It's a look on his face. Anyway. All right, so yeah, these are Swissies. Okay, that's what I thought you were talking about. Did you get which one of these did you get? Did you get the version 2, the Max, or what did you get? They all look kind of interesting. I don't know if like they're interesting enough to me to grab them, because I'm still like, I got cable attachments that pretty much give me enough training variety now. But that's one of the coolest, to me, it's like one of the easiest ways to add some training variety. Give a slightly different training stimulus is just swap out your cable handle. So yeah, is that go back to here. But yeah, Ashley said, I'm obsessed with the rep double black diamond for deadlifts. I'm trying to remember, was that out at Home Gym Con year 2? Because that's the last time I tried I used a rep fitness bar. That was at that Home Gym Con. I don't think I've ever owned a rep bar, but so I've only ever used a rep fitness bar at Home Gym Con, and Home Gym Con year 2 was the last time I used a rep fitness barbell. Sean said, I can't wait for my bells to steel deadlift bar to come. I think you'll like it. Man. Jared said, not the fat handles. The aluminum handles paired with bearings. No. So let's see here. Go back. Yeah. The aluminum handles are bearings. So I'm just pulling it up on screen so people can see what you're talking about. So no, I did not. I just wasn't interested in them. So I'll say this. One of the benefits of having hearing loss from the Marine Corps is some of the noises that bother other people don't bother me. And my D handles that I already have, my little knockoff cheap ones or whatever, were doing the job. I got the fat handles specifically because I felt like they were going to give me a different training stimulus than the ones I already had. But I didn't see any reason to. I just didn't want to spend the money on these without knowing that there's like a clear training advantage to buying them, if that makes sense. Like if I didn't have any at all, then yeah, I would grab them. But since I already had some, I was just like, I didn't really worry about it. I hope that answered your question. Eric said the ones he got, the Swissies he got, are like the rock climbing handles from Kinsway. That's what sounds like that'll actually be like a challenge to your grip. I know you're really into grip training. That sounds like it'd be a challenge to like your finger strength. It'll not a challenge, but it'll build your finger strength as well. That might be an interesting stimulus. That might be pretty cool. Carp said that's what I've always liked about this channel. It always seemed the most real. Man, I appreciate that, Eric. I am quite okay. Let me not say that's not true. I can't say that I'm the exact same person on camera that I am off camera, because off camera I'm a little bit more introverted if I don't know you. First thing, I do a lot of people watching. If I'm in a crowd, I do a lot of people watching, and I'm content to stand back and observe the action. I don't need to be a part of it, right? So like, which I think is one reason why doing this was a natural fit, because in school, in college, when I was training to be a reporter, they always talked about how basically we report the news. We're not here to make the news. We're here to report the news. So it's like you want to tell the story. You don't want to be the story. And so in a lot of ways, I kind of like, I wouldn't say I shy away from the spotlight, but I kind of do. So whereas here, if I'm on camera, I get up for it, right? Because I actually enjoy spending time with you guys. I was like, I actually sometimes have trouble getting to sleep the night before a show because I'm excited about getting up to do the show with you guys. So there's that too. But in terms of how I act, yeah, it's pretty much me. And once you get to know me, like I would hope that Carlos would have like, and other people who've talked to me on the phone would say, yeah, that's pretty much how he is. Jared said Eccles got the Mac Daddy package of the Swissies. Oh, I believe it. Okay, it was at Home Gym Con year 1. Yeah, okay, so I tried them at year 1 too. In fact, year 1, I know I tried them because I did an interview with Adam. He did the booth tour for me, and then during the workout time, I used their barbell for some stuff. Carp said I've gained a lot of friends in the space, but I think this channel I appreciate this, man. He said, I think this channel has been fun to watch the growth, and basically the same took the magazine into a live show. Yeah, man. It's like it's funny because like I said, when I started doing YouTube, I mean, and I don't blame anybody for this, but people assume that I was trying to do like what Basement Brandon does. Just for example. And that's not the case at all. Like I was trying to recreate the magazine, but better, So yeah. Sean said my wife won't like the Calla sister borrow Gibeon, but she'll be all right. Hey, you may want to. I forgot how long you said you've been married, dude, but you might give that thought a second look. I've been married for over 20 years. I'm just saying, just think about what you do. Look, pretend I'm standing there with you and I put my hand on your shoulder. Brother, do you hear what you're saying? All right. Oh, okay. Carlos said off camera, John's the reason I need therapy. Oh, yeah. What are you talking about? You didn't like when I sent you that video of the Minotaurs? That was a public service announcement because I didn't know if you like having beef, if you go hiking with beef jerky in your pocket. I said, you don't want to be out there and have these Minotaurs catch you with beef jerky in your pocket. It might be a bad day, man. I was trying to help you out. You're welcome. All right, let's actually get to the news item. So, because I want to make sure I give a shout out to Trevor. I don't even know if Trevor's still watching, but I know he typically watches in Replay Gang. So, Trevor, shout out to you. There's going to be a content creator meet and greet during Home Gym Con. This is something that's brought up during the past week in the what they call the Convention Cartel group thread on Instagram. And I got it, and I'm giving a shout out to Trevor because Trevor Greenberg of the Disgruntled PM podcast was the first person who I remember bringing up this idea where he said that a lot of people are intimidated to meet content creators, and they also don't want to interrupt us if we're filming content at Home Gym Con. So he said he was saying that there should be a table. I believe Jake was on the show, and we were talking about things to improve for the next year, right? And one of the things Trevor, I remember asking or suggesting was there should be an area where people can, and a designated time where people can sign up to go, or people can go and meet their favorite content creators. Just like, if I know that you're going to be at this place at this time, I can come up, I can meet you. And he said it kind of lowers the barrier the barriers or whatever, right? So I want to say that that's not something that I'm like, kind of goes back to the standing in the background type of thing. But I'm not going to knock it because I understand that there is a market for it. There are people who desire that. And as a result of that, it's happening. So this is going to be happening in the Garage Gym competition booth, I believe, on Friday and Saturday. And if you're going to go to Home Gym Con, this is one of the best ways to meet your favorite content creators. I know Rex Peckinpah, for example, has said that he had never met Carp. Well, Carp is going to be, he's got a time slot at the booth, and so you can go right up to him. And it's going to be sort of an ask me anything. So you guys will be able to ask them questions about their content, how they got started. This is a great opportunity. Don't miss out on it. Ashley's going to be, I think, sharing her time slot with Kinsey. Trying to think. I think Man Who Parks and Gym is going to be doing it. There are going to be some other people there, basically. So Sean, Colonial Barbell, is going to be there. He's got a time slot. So you guys will be able to catch up to, like I said, some of your favorite content creators at the Garage Gym competition booth. I think they got 1 hour time slots. Yeah, if you're going to be doing it and I just can't remember. I'm going off the top of my head. If you are doing it and it's not an hour, please correct me, put it in the comments. All I ask is if you do this and you want to go attend one of these, make sure you ask them about I'm saying extremely hilarious behind the scenes conversations in the convention cartel thread. I literally this past week laughed out loud at some of the stuff that was in there. So I'm not going to tell y'all what they said. I'm just going to say you ask them when they're, just ask them the stories that are fit to print or whatever. Trevor said he's still here. Hey, yeah, man. So yeah, shout out to you. That, like I said, I'm big on giving people credit for stuff, man. And I think this is an idea that is obviously being put into action. And I just want to say, I could be wrong, but I remember a lot of things. And one of the things I remember is that Trevor was the first person I at least heard bring up this idea. So even if he never gets credit, I'm giving you credit because I remember when you brought it up. I mean, the capoeira frog, man. That was look, y'all don't know what Carlos is talking about. I sent him a video of a frog doing capoeira, and I said, look, and I felt this was motivational. I said, if a frog can learn to do capoeira, you can reach your goals. Stay with it. Look at that. That's motivating. That makes you want to go do push-ups right now. I know it does. You're welcome. Sean said the content creator meet and greet is a sweet idea. Carp and I'll be at the booth together, so I'll be holding the camera for him. There you go. I mean, yeah. Any excuse to stand next to Carp is a good excuse. Eric said, I can go tell Gluck I thought he'd be bigger again. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Adrian and Winnie are going to be, Gluck is going to be there. I'm assuming Adrian and Winnie are both going to be there, but there you go. They got a time slot. Sure. Don't forget to check out. Okay. Trevor said, don't forget to check out his show with Jake. I know you're not talking to me because I told you I already watched it. I commented. Did I? No, I didn't. I watched it and I liked it. Yeah, I watched it, liked it, and shared it. There you go. Yeah. Okay, yes, the time slots are 1 hour. That's what I thought. Okay. Who's claiming 6 feet? Gluck? Nah. I'm not gonna. Nah. I can't co-sign that. All right. So let's talk about my deload week real quick. We only got 10 minutes before we start the next topic. The next segment. So deload week. First of all, I did a couple 1 mile runs. And one of those 1 mile runs was that was actually why I was in the hotel gym, True by Hilton, which is why I know that their treadmills ain't the best or are boring, because they give you, so well, you see this if you watch the review, but I went with I tried first I tried the manual just to see if it what it gave me like on screen. Nothing. That's the answer. Nothing. Then I said, all right, well, let's try one of the pre-programmed workouts. Maybe you got to have a pre-programmed workout. And the answer to that is also nothing. But point is, I did a mile. I did a mile run multiple times during deload week because I wanted to start getting back into running. And I did, but my Achilles, as a result, is very angry at me. It's good right now, but it was mad. It was mad. And then I ended up running. This was unplanned, but I ran during Naomi's triathlon because I was trying to like film her for as long as possible. So like she's riding off on the bike and I'm chasing her, which I know had to be entertaining looking. I'm running with my arm out like I'm about to take off. Like I'm about to take off and go fight crime. But I'm running with the camera out in my fist like that. And then I have my backpack on, so it's just bouncing on my back, and I'm running across this field, running past the Porter John like dun 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 dun. But anyway, so I've been from the calves down miserable, right? So that's one thing. As far as the lifting themselves, I just kind of like kept it simple. I was tempted to max out my standing press, but I decided to postpone it. And instead, I used the Bells of Steel deadlift bar. I pressed with the Bells of Steel deadlift bar. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to see if there would be, because it's a whippy bar, I wanted to see if it was going to have any carryover for like instability training, like you use a tsunami bar, or some people take like a PVC pipe or something to make a bamboo or earthquake bar. And I was like, well, these the deadlift bar is pretty whippy. Let's see if I could just use that, right? It's not as much obviously as a tsunami bar. If I wanted to increase the oscillation, I could just take some bands, resistance bands, and hang some kettlebells or some plates off the ends of the bar on the sleeves, and that would increase the oscillation. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I will say that the handle is significantly thinner. It's only I think a 27 millimeter handle, maybe 28, but it's not more than 28 millimeter handle. And so it feels noticeably thinner in my hand, especially also because I tend to do shoulder pressing with my axle bar, with the Garage Gorilla bar, which is a 2-inch axle. So to go from that, which is a axle bar, which there's no whip or flex, and it's a 2-inch diameter bar, to the Bells of Steel deadlift bar, which is, like I said, I want to say it's 27 millimeter. Let me look it up now. Because now I'm curious. The deadlift bar is, pull this up and we'll look together. Specifications, 27 millimeter. Okay, yeah, so 27 millimeter. All right, so anyway, you guys can see how much it bends, right? So I wouldn't say it's like super, super whippy, but it's noticeably whippy. Anyway, so I use that for pressing. So go and stop sharing that. I use that for pressing, and that was enough of because deload week is boring. So I guess maybe I should have said that. Deload week is boring, so I'm always looking for different ways to spice things up, and that was enough of a difference for me to be like, oh, that was interesting. So that was pretty cool. So if you guys have the deadlift bar, the Bells of Steel deadlift bar, go ahead and give it a try for standing presses or bench pressing, and just see, see how you like it. It's gonna be a lot different than pressing with a normal power bar. Just warn you off the top. But again, it's another way to give yourself a good little different training stimulus. But overall, my squat, bench, and standing press are feeling strong going into the next cycle. My conventional deadlift is stuck at around a 502 pound, estimated 1 rep max. But that's all right, because that's not really the focus of this block of training. All the way up to home gym con, my deadlift is not the focus. My bench press is, and squat is bench press, standing press, and then squat in that order in terms of what I've prioritized. And as far as the Achilles, I'm moving things around so I can fix it, because it's impacting my ability to burn calories. Because like I end up having to stop running. I did use the Normatec my Normatec Goes, and I used my my Normatec boots, and that helped. Did some Grastons scraping, that helped as well. But I think it actually comes down to calf raises. I just need to add calf raises back into my training, because that's something I let go to the wayside because I would just run out of time. So, like I said earlier, bodybuilding is going to be the way to fix it. And I remember John Brown, former Mr. Universe John Brown, who is Amon-Ra St. Brown's dad. He said, he says a lot, but he said, when you got something to say, you need to talk. And he said that one of the reasons why he thinks NFL players have these Achilles issues is because they don't do calf raises, because that's not something that a lot of sports specific people will program for you. They do a bunch of other things. They don't program calf raises. And he said, well, that's why y'all have problems with your ankles. That's why you have problems with your Achilles, because your calves, you don't have a support structure that's ready to support it. And you think about how strong and explosive they are in the quads. So he's like, you need to balance it out. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. So anyway, so we're going to try adding calf raises back in and see if that fixes the problem. See here. Jameson Dorset, what's up, man? He said John started another channel called Garage Gym Pain. Yeah, definitely not. I could. I could do that, but no, not this time. Then this is a hack. I don't know, Kevin, if you're still watching, but Kevin from Home Gym Gains tried this one, said he liked it. So I don't know, how are you guys? Post in the chat if you're watching a replay. Post in the comments if you're familiar with the Gironda, tricep extension. No, Gironda cradle bench. Yeah, it's not called the tricep extension bench. It's the Gironda cradle bench. It is so think about when you go if you want to do overhead extensions with a cable, right? Either you do it standing up, so lean forward, and you're doing like basically a cable push out, or what you can do, a lot of bodybuilders like to do, is they'll kneel down and put their elbows on the bench and do that, right? So they're propped on the bench, and then you get the range of motion and you just focus on the movement. The problem is your face hits the bench, so you really can't get your arms in the right position. So some of you may have already seen this, but I did, let me pull this up right here. I did this the other day. It's been a minute since I did it, but this is what I think is a nice hack for overhead extensions, right? So let me go ahead and let me skip here. So you see I adjusted the bench up and I adjusted the seat, and you'll see what I was talking about right away. Now for this, I'm having to back up because of the length of the cable. I'm having to back up and put my butt on the Bells of Steel cable tower. And I'm using our RitFit Gator bench right there. But by having the seat at an incline and the back pad at an incline, my face fits into that groove right there. And now my triceps are completely supported and I'm able to just focus on the movement. And you get, if you've never tried this, this is a really, really great tricep movement. Gets good stretch and everything. Now, ideally, you do this with a rope. So, let's see here. See if I can pull this up so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, so yeah. So this is a cradle bench. This is from shout out to Golden Era Bookworm on Instagram. But this is so you're supposed to do this with a rope. It's actually, I just wanted to use the bar. But you can see, and this is actually even a better angle. So this is what the cradle bench does for you. So you can see what this is what the cradle bench does for you, right? I just like using the adjustable bench because I already own an adjustable bench. So we don't have to go buy a special or have somebody build a cradle bench. I don't even think anybody makes them anymore. You just have to find an old one. I have to talk to Rob from Vintage Weights PGH, but I don't think anybody makes the cradle bench anymore. So I was just like, rather than go spend money on something, let's just adapt to what I already have. And I thought that was a good hack. So Kevin, like I said, Kevin from Home Gym Gains tried it and he seemed to like it. So if you guys try it, do me a favor and drop a comment. Or if you have tried it, drop it in the comments in the chat. If you're watching on replay, drop it in the comments. Let me know if you've tried it and what you think of that movement. All right. All right. Naomi is back, and that's perfect timing because it is now 8:02 a.m. Good morning to those of you in the Mountain Time Zone who are just joining us. Go ahead and add Naomi to the stage. And it's a let's see, it's 6 a.m. where you guys are, so 6:02 a.m. specifically. So getting up and getting ready to hit the gym, or are you about to head into the office? We appreciate you waking up and spending some time with us during this final hour of the show. So let's go ahead. It's time to do what you guys are probably waiting for. We're going to do a recap of Naomi's performance in the Ride on Ryan Sprint Triathlon. So, Naomi, let's go ahead and just so people understand what I mean by when I say this, I'm going to pull up. This is a clip. Most people probably have seen this, but a clip from the the aftermath in the car.
Oh.
Current situation.
I crashed.
Is you got the Hyper Ice, Hyper Boots on, got the Normatec Goes on, and officially done. Officially, that was that. All right. So let's just begin with how are you feeling right now? Tell everybody how you're feeling right now.
I feel a lot better. I do think, without being too TMI, I think I may have gotten some of the water in my system. I tried my best when swimming.
You mean like swallowing it and stuff?
Yeah, I tried to make sure I kept it all cleared out, but
it'll clear you out all right.
It was doing that for a few days. But I feel a lot better. I took time to rest up. You know, nutrition has a lot to do with it. And one of the things that I said I wish I had eaten the day before, and I had food, but I didn't have like what I needed prior to the race, and I felt it. But it's kind of like our post-race, it's almost like a deload, like how you would classify like a deload when you've been doing a lifting block for a period of time. So that's what I was doing this week. And I feel better. Like I'm ready to after work today, I'll probably go for just a brief run and some lifting today.
Okay. So this is kind of like some clips for people who have not watched it yet. They're putting your race information on you, and that's your little ankle band, so that basically that's how they track you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's the water right there, and this video does not encapsulate how disgusting that water is. But y'all see that grass? We are standing on the outskirts of a swamp. That's all I'm saying right there. It's that, yeah, you can kind of tell right there. That is some
so to give,
yuck.
So one thing I will say is the organizer of the race did a really good job. So I do want to go ahead and say that they did a really good job, where for the way it was laid out and support and everything that was there, it was great. The water, the swimming option was the swimming option at the time. It's like, I think the best way to kind of categorize it was, that wasn't a lake, that's more like a pond. So I had to mentally prepare myself for getting in there to swim. But I knew if I didn't complete that part, then the rest of my race could not be completed. Because I was doing a try. I wasn't doing a duathlon. Duathlons, you don't swim at all.
Right. Don't you like run twice or something like that?
You run depending on the length of the duathlon, but you'll run like a mile or 3, depending again the length of the duathlon. But you'll run a mile at the beginning, then you'll do your bike distance, and then you'll do your 5K or whatever is left at the back end. Okay. Yeah. And then you also have relays, and there were people that will just do the swim part. You'll have someone that just does the ride part and someone that just does the run part.
So, I mean, that does make triathlons a little bit more, especially something like this, a little bit more accessible, because you might have somebody who's like, I ain't getting in that nasty water, and then you might have somebody be like, I ain't doing all that running. So y'all team up like the Avengers and go out there and find a third person who just loves riding bikes. And then y'all off to the races, literally.
I've swam because like the ones I've done in like South Georgia, or South Atlanta, I should say, because it's still Georgia. Those are bigger lakes, and those were not as.
The word you're looking for is cleaner. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's the word you're looking for. Yeah. Well, all right. So you did hit some milestones during the race. The first one that I thought was really cool is you ran the entire thing. In the past, you would have done like a combination of running and walking. Let me see if I can't pull this up right here. Good job, Naomi. Keep going. There she is. And remember, y'all were asking me about we were talking about the zoom on the Osmo Pocket 3. That's as zoomed as I could get it. Right there. Which is not very zoomed. And I was like, as I was filming it, I said, they're going to be like, how does he know that that's her? So that's when I said the thing about the ice cream. I was like, well, that's how I can prove that it's definitely her. Because when I say it, you like put your hand up in there, like, there you go. So yeah, but it's anyway. But yeah, so that course was, I would think that, so I personally don't like running laps for any reason. I prefer to run to somewhere and run back if I got to run, right? This course to me presented a different mental challenge in that you had to do 3 laps. So just the fact that you ran the entire thing to me was a big deal.
Well, it's very similar to one of the parks that's here, that the loop is little over 2 miles. And then there's another, but it's wood chipped is the trail. But then if you're training for like a 6K, then there is another portion of it where it is paved, like how that course was. So that's where I put myself mentally. I was like, okay, it's just like me running at Dillinger kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Trying to see if I can pull up. Here's a.
and also that course was not. They're still working on completing that running trail because there was also a part where you kind of ran through the grass.
There you go, Naomi. There you go. I'm coming through the tree line. There was a lot of that.
There was a lot. Yeah.
Me coming out the bushes, and there she is, right there. Hey, you know.
And so there. Bless his heart.
Come out the bushes with my backpack. I said I was running with my fist out, like I was about to take off and fight evil.
Yes. But I mean, there were parts where you kind of ran through the grass, and then there was like part of a parking lot, and then you kind of, as the one of the route cheer honors or also monitors were like, you get ready to kind of go off-road because you have to go down and then come up. Yeah. And it's like, just be careful, there's a little bit of a dip there. Yeah. So once that part of the park is completed, it probably will be just on that course in and of itself. But overall, for the run part, it was nice. It was, I was giving stalker energy.
I was not.
All the time.
Hey, she said the hips don't lie. Hey, I'm just saying. I can spot him a mile away.
That is Donna. Shout out to Donna.
I can spot him a mile away.
But it was one of those things that I was glad to have been able to run it the entire time. Just steady pace. I didn't and again, I set my intention to just be steady from the beginning part, from the swim all the way through. And that's what I wanted to say, just consistent and steady.
Right. So I think you said that you felt really strong on the bike, mm-hmm. and you had a good time, which I thought was also interesting because you didn't have the intra-race nutrition that you normally would have. So you basically just had water, but you still did well considering you normally you would have so for people who don't know, you would have had like your snacks that you would have been able to replenish while you're on the bike, right? Mm-hmm. And that's like your only chance to do that. You come out the water, then you're gonna do 13-mile bike ride, and it's also your time to eat your snacks and your what do you call it? Your goo gel or whatever, right?
Goo gel. I mean, it's not like as if I'm
eating your stingers, but you didn't. Yeah, but it's like, but you didn't have any of that. So mm-hmm. to me, it was to me it showed like how your conditioning mm-hmm. has improved because you were able to do it with just water the entire time. Now at the end, it took a toll, but you were able to still complete everything.
I would have liked to have had, instead of just water, I would have liked to have had like electrolytes in my water bottle, or even because typically if I'm going to go on a long ride, I'll have one water bottle that has like electrolytes, so like liquid IV or something like that, and then in my other bottle I may have some pre-workout. And then I'll usually have my pre-workout at the beginning part just to kind of sip on as I'm going, and then by that time, once I'm hitting like that 10-15 mile period, then I'm having the electrolytes just to keep that steady. And I just had water, and I had 1.5 bottles because one of my bottles I used half of it to get the mud and the sticks and the grass off my feet.
And shout out to the RitFit towel. So yep. I see we identified the importance of towels now, huh?
Yeah. Well,
there we go. The importance. What? Go ahead. Get out.
You really
made fun of my gym towels.
My towels.
I'm just saying, y'all were making fun of me. Saying, gym towels, why they important? And they just keep on proving their worth. They just keep on demonstrating how vital they are.
They were vital outside.
I believe we covered earlier how this is a sport and it's a training situation and it's a competitive situation in the gym towel. So all I'm saying is, thank God your husband got you some gym towels. Anyway, you're welcome. Anyway, moving on. So, but seriously though, looking at the way you were able to perform mm-hmm. this time, You didn't walk at all. How does that boost your confidence? Not just in your training choices, because you coach yourself essentially, but also in the fact that you are improving as a triathlete as you get older.
Well, I will go ahead and say that what I think what's been different with this go around versus the last time, yes, well, I was mainly coaching myself. I did use a different training program this time around. So again, shout out to the Ladder app for making that possible.
Not sponsored, but we are taking money, Ladder. We are taking
Yes.
money actively. If you need contact information, I'm provided.
But I mean, again, I felt stronger with the, because I was doing more weight this time than just cardio, and how that transitioned into my sport. So it made me more functional in my personal opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, the just the strength it needs to be able to push when it comes down to cycling, for running, but then the endurance as well. And I think one of the questions you had asked me last time was, well, what do you think different that you would do? And I think I would
Are
change
you
up.
about to skip ahead?
I wasn't really, but I'll
It's
hold
okay.
my.
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead. Go
But no,
ahead.
I was gonna like kind of change up my training a little bit to be more of include some more endurance
Right.
besides the progressive overload with the weightlifting that I've been doing.
So with that said, when you're competing, your window is pretty small because you do not, well, first of all, you have to work around your work schedule. So you can't just go do, you're not paid to be a triathlete. So like anybody else who is not competing on a pro level, you have to work around your work schedule.
Mhm.
And you personally also don't compete when the temperature goes below a certain number.
Mm-mm.
So, which is understandable because you are swimming and water's cold, right?
Yeah.
So you can't afford, but that means that you can't afford to waste a lot of time between races. So when you're competing, your races tend not to be spread out too far from each other.
Mhm.
So what are your keys to recovering from races as quickly as possible
Right.
so you can get back to training?
Again, shout out to Hyperice. They're really, really helpful this go around. Usually in the past, what I'll end up doing is, of course, a lot of foam rolling.
Not sponsored, also still taking money.
Do a lot of foam rolling. We used to have the stick the good old stick to kind of like rub out the muscles and whatnot. I haven't used that in a long time. But this and rest. Definitely making sure to get a lot of rest. Because usually I'm on the go, and now it's kind of like, okay, if my body says just chill, I'm gonna just chill. Because that way I can come back and actually do what I need to do. To get back into the swing of training.
So your next race is to that thing. When I said a short window, your next race is less than 6 weeks away.
Well,
You have the advantage of having competed in the Iron Girl before. You have so unlike this race, you have at least an idea of what the course is like, assuming that they do the same course. But this is a full triathlon, I think, not a sprint.
No, it's still a sprint. It's just
A sprint. Okay.
it's still a sprint. I am looking at some Olympic distance ones, which are longer. So that's like a 1,000 meter, not 1,000 mile, 1,000 meter swim. Usually it's about a 26-mile bike ride, and then it's like a 10K or a 6.4-mile run. So my next one is also a sprint. But there is going to be more hills that are involved with that one, because it will be in South Atlanta. So again, it's a course that I've done before, so I am familiar with it. A nicer swim, definitely. No, there are turtles, but they're further out in the water than right at the shoreline. But I am looking forward to it because I have had I kind of know what it was like the last time. Same thing with the run. It is an out and back. It's not a loop, per se, like how it was with the one I did the other day, or the first one I did. So I am looking forward to it. And actually, I did look at the calendar, so it's a little longer than 6 weeks. It's in July.
Okay.
So
that's good. Well, that's good
Yeah.
because I was like, well, we already talked about last night about what I was like. Oh, we're kind of on the clock, but
we are still going to be on the clock because I want to. My goal is to be able to do it in a sub 30, sub 130. And with this one being the first one for this year, I did it in just a little over 2 hours. And I mean, there were people that were doing. There was actually I think he was 10 or 11 that did the race, and he finished it in like an hour and 15 minutes. And I was like, no wonder I didn't see him, because he was gone and back. So
when I looked at your results, it said you did it in less than 2 hours.
Oh, were you able to find the results?
I mean, what did I tell people? If it's on the internet.
No, now I'm interested. So
you haven't seen it? I thought you already seen it. Oh, okay,
No.
yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. So, so there you go. There's your results, and this
okay.
is
You gotta make it bigger. Or no, I need to make it bigger, not you. That's me. Even though I have glasses, I'm gonna move you to a different pause.
What? Hey, hey, Naku, sorry. Theo, my bad. I don't know what she's talking about. Anyway, so I'll just tell you. So
my pace was
you had a 13:08 run pace. And I will also say that some of the thing with your time is because you weren't. I still don't know if I even told you the right way to go, because I didn't see anybody who was starting the run, which way they went. And if I did, I wouldn't have known if they were going the right way.
Okay.
Because remember, you were running and you had to stop and go back because we weren't sure if you had run across the thing. So here, I'll give you the link to the thing. I'll put it in the chat or whatever.
According to this, it was actually under 2 hours. So oh wow.
There you go. I just put it in the studio chat so you can see it. If anybody wants to see the results, I'm happy to. I'll put it in the live chat for you guys if you want to see it.
I'm not overbooked, so that's fine.
But yeah, so anyway, so yeah, it's got your bike time, your bike pace, and your swim time and everything. And again, like you were saying, you said this in the vlog, that you weren't really trying to race anybody. You're basically just trying to finish and to stay steady. And so I still think that that's really impressive based on what you were trying to do. And again, you ran out and you weren't able, like, we weren't sure if you were going. Okay. I think you already said it, but basically there's a thing you have to run over so that they keep track of your number. They get an accurate count of your time. And so that if you get lost or something, they know, hey, we haven't, so-and-so never came back in. And we weren't sure if you went the right way for the run to be counted. So you actually double back. So that you got to add that time back into your time. Anyway, so how does competing on a course that you've done before change your race prep compared to a course you've seen for the first time on the day of the race? Because, so for example, if I know, I'm trying to use like an example that people can relate to.
Like, have you done a power competition before and you know what to expect, like with certain judges?
Yeah, but also like if they're using the same kind of bar that I have, I kind of know how the bar operates. Or maybe this is even easier. Like if I'm fighting somebody who I've fought before, right? I kind of know, they might have gone and trained and learned some more moves or whatever, but I pretty much kind of know what to expect. Or like a team, you've played a team before, you kind of know what they're good at, you know who the players are, right? As opposed to, so you kind of know how to train, as opposed to this is a complete unknown. I don't know. So you have to kind of like train generally. So they told you like this is a fast and flat, but you had no way of knowing, for example, how uneven the course was going to be on the bike and how that it was going to potentially affect you. You know what I mean? But with this, what you're going to go do now, if the course is the same as what you've done before, you know what the hills are like. You know if there are hills, you kind of like, how does that change how you prepare, knowing what you're going to be, pretty much what you're going to be facing?
It definitely has a greater impact in your training and also your mental preparedness, because again, since you know, is like, okay, so like for example, the Chattanooga sprint, when doing that, the transition box,
the sports barn, I think it's called
sports barn.
Yeah,
it's much further back. So because it's so much further back, then they take that distance from the Tennessee River or from the swim course to the box. They shorten part of that for your run because you're running from the water to the box and it's a lot farther.
right.
And so it's like, okay, you kind of prepare for that. I know not only because living there, but the bike path, I was familiar with that. And I was like, okay, I know this is where it's going to be. This is how it is, etc. With the running portion of it, when looking at the map, it was like, oh, we're going to go running over the bridge. So I knew again what to expect. And so that does, it does change up a little bit with your training because like, okay, I need to make sure I'm good with hills. I need to make sure I'm,
Gotcha. Okay.
you know, those kind of things. Also with the transition box is like, okay, where can I put my stuff? Because you are designated a certain area based off of your bib number. And so it's important to get there early enough so that way you can get prime real estate for where you put your gear and how you would lay it out. With this past race, I was further in to my lane where I was able to put everything up. But ideally, I like to stay in like an aisle seat. So I can like, it's right there, go, and, you know, drop and change and get out. But no, like you said, you know,
So
being
people
familiar with the
transition
course, and being familiar with the event and doing it again does help out a lot when it comes down to training.
Yeah. So this is showing like the race area, the transition area, and I think it's one of those things like, so I'm not allowed in the transition area. All right. So that's another thing that I had to like think about as like the quote unquote handler. So in powerlifting, just like you wouldn't be allowed on the platform, right? Unless you're like handing off to me. You have to be like, okay, I know if you're gonna give me anything, if you're gonna like, if I'm wearing headphones, you got to take them off me. You got to know like where to stand or whatever, right? And it's the same thing with that. Is like, well, if I couldn't just hand you a banana, for example, right? While you're, you know, like let's say I'm standing next to the course, you run by, I can't hand you a banana. I couldn't take like, oh, you know, take something. If you drop something, I can't hand it back to you. But when you forgot something in the car and I had to go get it, I couldn't go into the transition box to give it to you. I had to like go around the fence to hand it over. So it's kind of like knowing, or kind of like being like the person, like the double. And this kind of goes into like things I learned or like things I remembered, because heck, it's been 4 years for me too. Oh yeah, you know what? I need to have a list of stuff to make sure I can say, hey, double check. Hey, did you grab this? Did you grab that? That way you've got everything with you. That's just one less thing to have to worry about when you're in the transition area. So I know that you said you're going to be training, you're going to be adjusting and doing a little bit more endurance stuff. Endurance training is time consuming. Yeah. Because it's endurance, right? So what are you gonna do as far as like taking stuff out of training? Like what are you gonna remove so that your training sessions don't end up getting too long? Because again, you're working around your work schedule, your normal life schedule and all that.
Well, like I said, I was definitely looking at my programs that I've done so far. And I try not to do programs like lifting programs that are going to take me over an hour. And which has been great, you know, with the training that's been you know, designed by Shelby Robbins and by also Aria on the Ladder app. I am looking at another one that is more designed where it's kind of like high rocks almost. So it does have a little bit more of like that endurance and that progressive overload. But the workout sessions are between 30 to 45 minutes, give or take. And then definitely plotting out where I have more pool time. So, you know, that maybe a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, early morning swim, and then having my weekend, like Saturdays being my long outdoor cycling session where I am you know, road cycling, but not so much on the trail, but actually like, and there's several spots in Atlanta and just outside of the Atlanta area that you can really target hills, and just, you know, it's open road, but they're not busy roads per se. But then again, I do have the indoor cycling with the Speedience, being able to get, you know, 1 or 2 sessions in on that too, in a week. And so what I like about the training for the for this particular program I'm going to do on the Ladder app, instead of being only treadmill, I can go ahead and swap it out for the road bike or cycling. So when there is conditioning that is programmed, I can change out what is my equipment that I'm using for conditioning in there.
I think that's something that's important because like people don't think about, like if you don't race on a bike, you don't think about the fact that how you, so like the way that you ride a bicycle is different than people who aren't racing. So like the way that you, for example, you're what do you call it? Like you're using your hamstring to pull.
Yep. So you get both the drive and the pull.
Right. So like that's something that's like a technique that you have to practice, which is partly why. So we were having the discussions over the past year. People were like, oh, you should try this bike or that bike, and they're like talking about the Avaron Fit bike, and it's like, and you were like, no, I want the Speedience because like we specifically said we wanted the Speedience Velonix because it allowed you to simulate more closely what it feels like to be on a road bike, because you're trying to get, you were working towards this point here where you're like out on the road. Now nothing replaces being on the road,
right? But
that's like the Speedience is kind of like your off-season training. Something that I thought about
also, before you move on, the Speedience Velonix, also what I liked about it is not so much with just that I was able to change out the pedal so I can clip in, clip out, but also on the handlebars, you have the gear shifting, which again, if you're training, like if you have a simulated hill, you're able to change your gears to be able to help with that, which again, you have to, as soon as you start feeling that shift, that lag that a hill will give you, learning, okay, it's kind of like driving a stick shift in a car. It's like, how do you shift it so that way you can make it up that hill? And the Speedience Velonix actually helps with that.
Let me stop and say what's up to Rex. Rex said made it to one of my favorite places. What's up, Rex? Glad to have you, man. Always happy to have you.
Very much for the encouragement too on the video. Thank you, Rex.
Oh yeah, you were getting, there were so many of you guys commented on the video. Please continue to comment on the video because Naomi sees all of it. She doesn't always have time to comment and respond, but she sees all of it, or like in the moment, but she'll always come back and answer you guys. So please continue. I've put the link for those of you who have not seen the video in the description for this video, so you guys can go and check out Naomi's triathlon vlog. And if we get enough of a response, we're going to do more vlog style videos. We had started doing them and then we stopped because we just weren't getting the response. But if we get enough response on them, we're going to do more vlog style videos just to give you guys something more interesting to watch. Carlos said, freaking Phoenix, man. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not bitter over my towels. I just want my towels to be acknowledged, Donna. I just want them to be acknowledged.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so
hear about it.
thing I was gonna say is that for your sport, weights are GPP. the general physical preparedness. So you still have to schedule time to work on technique, as we were just talking about, right? So if you were able to clip in, and we talked about it even on the way back from the race, you'd have more power on the bike, but you need to be comfortable with clipping in and out so you're not in danger of falling. Right. So this is the part that we hadn't talked about is, could you not train that? Like, I was thinking like basically you're in the driveway so that there's a slope and you just practice clipping in and out. Cause you like, basically you're at a standstill. And then I don't know, it's kind of, it's almost like when you teach a kid to ride a bike and you hold the bike, then you let go, whatever. I was thinking about like, cause I'm trying to figure like ways that I can help you also, like, okay, well, maybe we could do that.
It's one of those things that
or is it mental?
It's mental, because you have to kind of, everybody knows that's done clipping, cycling is like you're gonna fall eventually. You know, one day you're gonna fall. And
you have fallen, to be fair.
I have fallen. I have fallen and I have broken a finger. Yes. And John didn't know for like a few days, thanks to his work schedule.
Yeah.
That's a whole, I'll be happy to tell that story another time. But it's one of those things that I guess just training it, and so I would feel comfortable training it on the trail that's by our where we are, because it is like it's relatively flat.
This is look at this is me trying to like get the gimbal because I was trying to run. Sorry, but I wanted to get it because I was showing that where you fell, like right there where you almost fell and you had to catch yourself. Yeah.
Because the thing is that and my foot was out, so I
because you weren't clipped in.
Foot.
That's right. Yeah.
And but it's because again you have to kind of be prepared for if there's any kind of rough road or anything like that. It's just it comes with time. It comes with time. And could I have changed out my pedals prior to this? I could have had to get the tool to be able to do it, but I'm glad I didn't, because then I would have definitely have fallen.
Somebody else, well, a couple other people fell.
Yeah, some people had some. Yeah, some people had their experiences.
Actually, I'll pull it up so people can see. Part of the reason why you guys fell because of how uneven the.
It was just it's a tree root that's there, and again
to do except wait. So they're gonna. So this is what you guys were riding on, and he'll show you in just a second. See how uneven that is. This is where you're riding up there, and then you dismount when you get to that those signs. So that's where they're talking about, like you're clipping in and clipping out, and people were falling, and you fell somewhere around right in front of the dismount area. But
I tilted. I didn't fall.
I'm sorry, you didn't fall. You tilted. Yes,
I tilted.
You tilted.
There's a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference. Yeah.
Because if you fall, that would hurt. That would hurt.
I just want to give a shout out. This refers back to what we were saying with the Osmo Pocket 4 and how it's on. So it was focused on it. So I'm going to tell you what's happening first, and then I'll show you. So it was focused on you.
Right.
You went, and then there were the cars between me and you.
Right.
It was trying to acquire you, and I'm running. And so the thing just gave up and spun around to me.
It's like, I need your help.
I'm like, no. You're looking at the wrong thing. No. Look back over this way. There you go. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, man. No, back wrong way. See now, and then went to focus on some other random people. So no, we don't know them. We're looking at her. There we go.
All right. What it was is OP just needed your help. That's all.
I guess, yeah.
OP robot just said, hey, I need help.
So that is one of the improvements for those who were watching the first segment where we're talking about the difference, like how the Osmo Pocket 4 has better tracking. That's one of the things I was saying when I was like, it's harder when because I was literally running. So then when it spun around to me, I said, okay, let's just stop. I'm still walking, but the spin. Yeah. Anyway. So there's a list of things that I wrote down, and I think you had time to like look over this list, because I said this is stuff that I could do on my end to be a better handler before, during, after the race. So I'll read them, and then I just want you to react to it. So first of all, I didn't realize that Ride on Ryan had done a video preview on YouTube of the race course. Yeah, because so that's why I made that face when you said, hang on, pause this right here. When you said they did a good job of laying out everything, and I'm like, well, you know what they didn't do a good job of is telling y'all that they had done a video preview 2 weeks before. So 2 weeks ago, they did the race course. There's 20 views. There were 200 of y'all, right? So this is her, and she's just showing like where the course is. The course is a little different. And so we also know we have some new people coming, and they showed see, they showed the course, describe where you would go, everything else. That's great, but I think that they could have done a better job of putting the word out there that this was something that was available.
Right.
But yeah, so
I
did
didn't
not know that.
No.
Yeah, I found out yesterday.
I just looked at the website to see the map and you know, and just the address. I just
and
need
the
to make
website,
sure.
which did not have a link showing, hey, by the way, we got this video we did of the. That's what I'm saying. It's like, to me, so for me, it's like, go look for stuff like that, because you might. I just don't assume that you've seen it, because you may not have seen it. You know?
Right.
Because that's why there's two of us. Then again, like, you've done the Iron Girl before, but still they may post a video to help people out. So I'm gonna go look for it.
They could have also changed. They could have updated the course too.
That's
true.
But
since that is typically based out of the Lake Lanier Park area, it's pretty much kind of like, you know, how in and out it goes.
There's a limit to what they can change, because
Right.
there's other stuff going on at the same time.
Exactly.
Another one is, I'm gonna make sure that you eat some low glycemic carbs and some easy digesting protein the night before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure that I actually eat, because I think what happened is I got in my head. I was tired. I was fatigued, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to sleep.
So I think that what I could have done is say, like, before we got to the hotel, said, let's grab the food and eaten on the way to the hotel.
Yeah.
Because then it would have helped. All right. Because then we get to the hotel and you're ready to crash. Well, then food would have been in your system. Hence why slow digesting carbs. Then let's see, another one. Make sure I remind you to put your race snacks into your saddlebag.
I could have put my race snacks in my saddlebag after I finished pumping up my tire, technically.
That's true, but that's the reason for reminding, because I mean, like, when I'm competing powerlifting, I forget stuff too. And it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
I should have brought a tripod. I should have taken a tripod so I could set the camera down and have my hands free. Although admittedly it worked perfectly when it wasn't crunch time. So I could have taken your flip-flops off and been able to unclip them and hand them to you, so that you wouldn't have had to, because then you would have saved time from cleaning the stuff off your feet.
I still had that stuff on my feet, and I'm kind of glad that you didn't hand me the flip-flops, because I was able to get some of the stuff off the bottom of my feet kind of rubbed off, because if not, then I would have been sliding in the flip-flops.
Yeah.
And so no. Maybe slides next time.
Bring an extra bottle of water just to clean your feet, so then you're not dipping into your drinking supply. So make sure I bring a chair with me. So if I take a chair, but it's not just for me during each stage, it's also so you can sit down if your blood sugar drops like it did.
Yeah.
Right. So a little camping chair. So just like little things. Have a banana and a snack ready for you as soon as you complete the run, so you don't have to go all the way back to transition area to refeed. Oh, good Lord, Lakeisha. So Lakeisha does a lot of cycling events. She said, I had a trek with clips and a car hit me. I came out of the clips and flipped over the handlebar. Came out of it with my knees scratched, nothing more. Whoa, man, that's good.
Thank God. But it's like, so it's when you're cycling on the road, even on the race, there were cars that were flying past us.
Because
And
you guys are riding through neighborhoods, and
well, there was a neighborhood, but then you got onto a main thoroughway,
right.
and so
I'm just
and
saying it's not like the police are blocking off the street. You're riding through normal whatever.
there where you would turn,
Yeah.
they would block it. And you did have, like I said, the course for the bike ride was well laid out, very, very well. But I mean, you don't have an escort that's riding along with you to make sure
Right.
that people, I mean, are you gonna have jerks behind the wheel? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for cyclists, most cyclists. Now, do you have those that think that they own the road? Yes. Just like cars think they own the road, you'll have cyclists that think they own the road too. But as long as you are following the rules and we can share the road just fine, and be safe. But like you said, I'm glad you're safe.
Yeah.
I know what it's like when you come over that handlebar. And at least just scraped knees. Thank God everything was okay. It could have been a lot worse. We've experienced in the cycling community here in Georgia where it's been worse.
Georgia's not a very cycling friendly state. There aren't bike lanes everywhere, and you do have people who are like they can't wait to zoom past a bike because people in Georgia tend to be in a hurry when they're driving because everybody lives far from where they work and everything's spread out. So people are always driving super fast everywhere. So when you see a cyclist, it's always like they're taking their lives in their hands a little bit. Last thing I thought about that could be different is to have a cooler of snacks in the car. We've got a cooler that we used to use for wrestling. It's just upstairs. It's like just to have that cooler of snacks in the car already for the ride home.
Yeah.
So that would have been, I think, would have been cool. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I did see something that I was like, oh, I want to definitely probably go to REI to pick up, or maybe it'll be an Amazon purchase. But there was a car that had posted up almost like a water bladder, but it had a shower head.
You're talking about the shower, yeah.
Yeah.
The camp shower.
Like a camp shower. And since I don't camp,
it
was the first time seeing that, and I was like, oh, that'd be
nice. So you stick it in the sun because we used them when I was in the Marine Corps. Like people, I mean, they weren't issued; people just have them, and you'd be out in the field, and it's understand this is just water, right? It's room temperature water. It's not heated, so you leave it out in the sun, and then it gets warmer or whatever. But then you can. That would have been cool, like especially for what you just came out. It would have been cool to rinse off. So let's we touched on this a little bit already, but we talked about using the Bells of Steel Blitz indoor cycling bike offline and the Spedience Velonex to help you prep. You also put in time. We've got a Spirit XT 385 treadmill, and I'm saying the names of the products specifically so that you guys, like those of you who are familiar with them, will understand like what she's using to train, because there are people I know who watch this who may say, oh, I'm interested in doing my first triathlon or whatever, right? So the Spirit XT 385 is not very expensive. In fact, I'll add it I'll put it in the link in the shopping thing so you guys can click on it and check it out. And if you want to grab it, you grab one. But nothing replaces time on the road, but how did those tools impact your training, especially the treadmill? Because I know a lot of people are more into like the Assault Curve treadmills now, and the other treadmills that you've tried, the one that we did, the Soft Trail Elite. Yeah, but it's like in the back of my mind is always that's nice, but does that get you ready for racing? Because it's not going to be a curved treadmill out on the road.
No, but I think the difference between a regular treadmill and some of those manual treadmills is that you set the pace on the manual. So when you're seeing if you're increasing in your pace and your speed, it's truly what you're developing, as opposed to being kind of force faked with a pace that you have on a treadmill. But at the end of the day, whatever tool you use during your off season is the best tool for you at that, at the time. So remember, your equipment is always going to be something that's going to help you get ready and stay ready. So as with the treadmill, especially during when daylight savings changes, where it gets darker earlier, or I don't really like cold. I would be able to do the treadmill when it's dark, when it's cold, to be able to get my runs in, kind of thing.
So the thing with the treadmill, and I saw Rex said, he said, I like the Blitz bike. I normally use it as part of a circuit.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about a treadmill, and this is from back when I was fighting, they would say that the reason why they preferred so we didn't have there were manual treadmills, but nobody really used them. So the reason why the coaches liked for you to use a treadmill over running outside, although you still did road work, is because you running outside, you get tired, you slow down.
Right.
But on the treadmill, you
have to say that.
Because of this, I actually don't ever use like the programs on the treadmill. It's always manual. I set it at a certain speed. And if anything, I might manipulate the incline, the degree of incline. But it's like, for somebody like me, I struggle to maintain the same pace. So using the treadmill helps me maintain the same pace, because I'm at least always running at least this fast.
Right.
Now I may run faster, and if that happens, if I notice myself like running into the front of the treadmill, I just speed it up.
Right.
That's something that I thought was kind of useful. But I was more curious about like the surface. Like the surfaces of the curved treadmills, like the Soft Trail Elite is like running on luxury.
Yeah.
You definitely don't get that out on the road. I just didn't know how you felt about how that prepares you for the open road. That's funny. Sean said cardio makes cowards of us all.
Yeah.
I hear that. Rex said the wrestling cooler, my guys could bring a whole buffet to the matches in their coolers. Yes, I'm telling you, like we had you have like the cooler. I'm like, we have all these things, and again, it's been 4 years for me as well. So it's just a matter of remembering. Oh, we've got this thing.
Mm-hmm.
We could have taken that. And also another variable is that we were 5 hours away from home as opposed to like 2 hours or whatever. So that kind of affected it. So
even when I did the one in Chattanooga was still less than a 2-hour drive for us. So it was within reason, but this one was truly a trek,
So only a couple of more things as we wrap up. Are there any things that you're going to stop doing so that as you get ready for this next race?
No, not at this time. Not at this time.
Like anything you're like, I don't need to do that right now, or that's not as important as I thought.
No, not anything that sticks out to say, oh yeah, that's done for. The only thing I'd say is what's done for me is not eating enough on the day before. Yeah. So what I'm gonna stop doing is, stop saying, oh, you're fine, and I need to stop, get something to eat, and that way I'm prepared. My four-legged coworkers over here demanding attention.
She's like, wrap this up. Come on now. We talked about this. That's funny.
But no, there's not. Other than that, there's really nothing that I would say I'm going to stop doing. It's really just how do I morph what I've been doing so far to continue to push me in the direction I need to be.
All right, so this is the last thing, and this actually relates. You may not think it does, but this relates. And I'm gonna show. I'm gonna make sure I put this in here because I happen to see it. And I was like, oh, I need to go ahead and let me see if where is this thing here? You telling me I can't find it now? No. Oh, wait a minute, hold up.
Now there is a question while you're looking for that I just saw pop up. That Honey D put there and says we use orange slices and honey stir during wrestling season, and would that be helpful? So for orange slices, when you're I guess it would be good. It would be helpful if it was in the, yes, I see you. It'd be, yes, I see you. It would be helpful in the transition box, but it wouldn't be helpful like in my saddlebag that's on the front part of my bike. Because the saddlebag is it's only about that big, and about, about that wide. So the honey sticks, maybe, if they're easy to kind of rip open while cycling. Yeah, I can see the honey sticks would be something simple, but that's what the goo gels do the same thing. It's just my poor planning on making sure it was in the my saddlebag before leaving the transition and heading on the course. So that's my fault. So making sure that I put those things in my bag as soon as I'm done pumping, I double check my tires, my gears, the lubrication that's on the chain and everything else, making sure everything is in that bag and it's, it's closed up before going into transition, because then I know, okay, everything's in there, everything's good, and I can get my chip, my number, the whole 9 yards.
All right, so this is I was able to find it. So one of the things that I always emphasize with the kids, like they were lifting because they competed in sports, right? So they're lifting with us. One of the things I always did is make sure that we always ended the training session with something fun, because it was hard. And I was like, especially with the wrestling thing, because everybody wants wrestlers to be like hard and gritty and all that. It's like, yeah, but you kind of got to enjoy this, right? And so you never know. It's like one of those things. And I'm like, I think that we can get lost in it, right? So just check this out. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh, yeah.
So this is after a wrestling session. So this is after, not wrestling session, but after it was like hard training, right? And so we just went outside, and Naomi wasn't around. She was at I think you were at work at the time.
Probably.
Yeah. So the point of it though is that was like a good way to keep things fun. How do you, even with the grind of it all, with your training and you have the races and you have your goals, how do you make it so that you still are having fun, so that you want to keep doing it? Because there's a grind. It's a grind. Everybody saw the video, part of the video where you like just laid out in the car and you're like crashed. And I'm going to tell y'all that the next day she was still very, very drained, and we couldn't just stay home because our son was getting baptized. But then after that, she came back. She's like, okay, I got to rest again. Yeah. How do you make it still be fun?
I mean, you get so much encouragement during the race and whatnot. When you're passing people, good job, great job, keep going, good job. And what's even better is when you see them again at another race. When training, especially when you're out and about, like training out for, you're at the park with running or you're cycling, especially if you're part of a group, it's just that encouragement. With again, I'm using ladder for my training sessions. You get the cheers in the middle of the workout, and the different sound effects, and whether it's, you get the heart or the, heart emoji or just different things. And then of course you also are giving that cheer on to others once you finish your workout, cheering on those that are still doing it in the middle of their workout. So those are the little things that keep you engaged, are fun. But also it's like, okay, this is my next goal here for this race. And once you accomplish it, the next thing is, well, when's my next race kind of thing. And so that's what I'm looking forward
to. So Carlos said, basically this meet was the first pancake. It's always pretty, but it's not always pretty, but it teaches you to be better. Yeah. And Rex said, I like that. He's talking about the skateboard thing. It works balance and static strength in a stance. It would have been one of those let's try these things I saw moments if I was still coaching. Yeah. So, I mean,
no idea it was the things I used to see.
I mean, but it was, well, anyway. So I'll just say, like, for me, it was like, how do I make this fun while reinforcing a skill, because I saw the difference in how other people were coaching. And I was just like, look, you can make it. There are a lot of ways to make things hard and boring. And I'm like, yeah, but you already got, especially when we're adults, like you already got a job. Why turn something you love into a low paying job? I'll let you get out of here, Naomi. Let's go ahead. Tell everybody one more time how they can follow you. And are you going to be putting something? Actually, I don't know the answer to this. Are you going to start adding more of your training stuff on your YouTube channel?
I'll probably will start doing more on my YouTube channel. And if not, it'll definitely be on Garage Gym Life YouTube channel. But yeah, you can follow me at my YouTube channel at Naomi Harris Greaves on YouTube, or Naomi Greaves on Instagram. And of course, always find me here at Garage Gym Life Media.
That's right. All right. So I know you got to get out of here because you got to get the rest of your day started.
Gotta check in.
I'll see you and Mystique later. Love you.
All right. Love you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. All right. So that was my lovely Puerto Rican assistant. And hey, Kenzie, you missed the is bodybuilding a sport debate from earlier. No, I'm not trying to. I don't want to argue about it anymore. I don't want to argue about it. I'm just letting you know that you missed it. You gotta, I tell you what, if you want to chime in on that, go ahead and put it in the comments on the replay. But let's wrap this up with what I learned this week. So what I learned this week relates to, there we go. All right. Okay. So what I learned this week relates to the second reason why I brought up Bobby Hunt's story from earlier. If you guys did not see what I said about Bobby Hunt earlier, you want to scroll back to the second segment of the show. I guess it was the third segment, technically. And I talked about how we progressed from Bobby and I having a confrontational relationship to one where there's mutual respect, right? And I think it goes into and so what I want to say is like this goes into the other side of the coin when we respond to comments. So it's as I told you guys, I'm a sarcastic person, and it's very it's difficult to not let that out when somebody comes at me in a way that I feel is disrespectful, especially when they make a comment that I feel is disrespectful. Because my thing is like kind of like that Shannon Sharp thing. It was like, you don't have to respect me, but I'm not going to let you disrespect me, right? And that's so it's tough to keep that under control. Especially, and it's not like I don't have the tools to fight. I'm a wordsmith. Sometimes it's, like you say something and it's easy for me to just fire back. And you guys, if you've been here from day one, you've seen, like, I remember somebody came at me and he was a little saucy, and I was interviewing one of the times Matthew Porter was on the show, and I was interviewing Matthew, and this guy, he had a question and he didn't like how he felt like I needed to be faster in answering his question, which was off on a tangent from what we were talking about. So you guys have seen how I responded when, somebody gets out of pocket, right? I do try to remember that a soft answer turns away wrath, but I'm not built to be bullied. But especially after this thing with Bobby, I try to remember everybody commenting is dealing with something, and they see, we slave over, we're like really close to the content we make. And this is me talking to other content creators. We work hard on our content, even if some people don't think it, but sometimes we agonize over it. Like, do I cut this out? Do I edit this? We spend lots of time on it, shooting, reshooting, editing. So we get close to it. And then somebody comes along and they just drop a throwaway. They drop a comment, especially when they comment and you can tell that they didn't watch the video, or they don't know you in your background, and they're just being, they're coming off saucy, right? But all that's affected by everything we do and say is affected by our past experiences. Let me give you an example. So Kinsey understands. She said, yeah, it's rough out here on social media. I get called all sorts of stuff every day. Turns out people don't like women with short hair and a little muscle. Yeah. I mean, and you're far from the only example. I've seen people say stuff out of pocket to Ashley, and I'm like, you don't even realize, you don't even know her background. You don't know anything about her skill set. Right? But let me just give you an example. What I'm saying is like your experiences affect how you interact with stuff, right? Your experiences are a filter. So I hate leg press machines. I hate them. And I hate them because I worked at a public gym, and I spent 5 years where multiple occasions I would see somebody get pinned under the leg press machine because they're trying to copy something silly that they saw their favorite bodybuilder do in a magazine or in a video. You know what? Like they'll put the plates on there, and then they get their friend to sit down on top of the plate on the machine, and they're yelling at whatever. And then these people try to emulate them, and they get trapped in the machine. But then you say, oh well, yeah, just don't load it up too much. What I also know of people who got injured using the machine the way it was designed, but because of how the machine's designed, it took them past their range of motion. And they're like, oh, well, it'll force you to get that range of motion till your body just adapts. Okay. I don't want to TMI, but basically one of the people who got injured ended up having blood coming out of somewhere that you don't want blood coming out of, and it was related to straining on the leg press machine. Something that I've never seen happen to somebody in squats. Yes, people always worry about your getting a hemorrhoid or a hernia or something like that on squats. No, I've never seen what I just described happen from squats. So as a result, I have a bias against leg press machines. And it doesn't matter how articulately you explain to me the benefits of leg press machines or how well you articulate the benefits of your specific leg press machine design. I got a filter. I hate leg press machines. In fact, as a little side note, the fact that we've got leg press machine videos on this channel is a tribute to the fact that this channel, that we don't censor the opinions of the contributors to the channel. Because in the case of like Naomi's Rit Fit Gazelle, I had to not only edit that, but I had to shoot the video in the first place. Then I had to come back and edit it in such a way that it showed what she thought about the machine, about the Gazelle, not my biases against leg press machines. Okay. But anyway, point is, I do not like leg press machines. So if I see a video about leg press machines, my immediate instinct is to say something that puts down leg press machines. And if the person says, oh, this is a great way to train, I could very easily say something negative about them because they're recommending a machine that I don't believe in. Right? I don't do that, but everybody doesn't have that restraint. Right? Sometimes they don't have a filter to be polite. And again, a lot of times they don't know your background. So I on purpose, I grabbed some comments. I'm going to share my screen. I hope you guys can see it, because I think this will help you guys too. So Marisa Inda is a world champion powerlifter, gymnast. She's a former gymnast, physique competitor. I mean, she's been on magazines. And she's also in a relationship with, I believe, and she's coached by one of the top strength coaches in the world. Okay. And you still see people putting comments like this. She's deadlifting. They're commenting about her form. I mean, some of the stuff doesn't even make any sense. This guy said to her, she's deadlifting, and he said, you're going to pull your hemorrhoids out of socket. right? Here's another one. This guy, it just came off the screen, right? And I actually commented on this one where I said, them not knowing what they're talking about has never stopped anyone on social media from offering their opinion. But you guys see her form right there, right? And while they may not look like the way like your favorite influencer or even your coach told you to squat, this successfully took her to multiple world championships. And again, she's coached by a world-class strength / powerlifting coach. So if Chad Wesley Smith thought there was something wrong with the way that she squats, you don't think he would change it? But yet this guy who's admittedly, I don't know his background either, but I will say that I'll bet you he doesn't have the credentials that Marisa does, because people who are very accomplished in a sport tend to know the other people who are accomplished in a sport. So you never see, not that, I mean, yes, I do have like a couple of records, but well, actually they're probably gone by now. It's been so long, but I'm just going to tell you that I've never had someone who's actually an accomplished champion lifter in any strength discipline make a negative comment on any of my videos. Let that sink in. Everybody who comments on my videos is always, and this is going to sound mean, everybody who comments negatively on my videos is always some nobody who may not have accomplished even a tenth of what I have or what you have. And you know that. And then, so you fighting yourself when they say something out of pocket to you. You're like, man, who are you even? Like what's Conor McGregor said to that one dude at the press conference, he say, who are you? Right? When the guy was talking trash to him, he's like, man, who even are you? Here's the thing. You got to not only just charge it to the game, that kind of stuff, just you got to charge it to the game. You're doing this, you got into this, and so you made yourself a bigger target. So you kind of got to charge it to the game. But also, I encourage you, I'm not telling you it's easy because I fight it myself, but I encourage you to give these potentially non-athletic regular people who got Twitter fingers and keyboard fingers, they type faster than they think, give them as much grace as you can, because you never know what they're going through. Because whatever they're going through is painful enough to make them want to run not only their life, but also somebody else's life on the internet. Now, I grant you, they could also be a teenager with like 5 minutes of life experience and way too much boldness because they know they're never going to run into you in person. But yeah, at the very least, their ignorance is improving your discoverability by boosting your engagement numbers because they commented. And if they decide to argue with you, that's just giving you more engagement. So even when they try to hurt you, they're actually helping you. So I know that doesn't make it easy, but that's the other thing. It's like the thing I learned. It's like, I didn't find out that Bobby had all the health issues till after we had built some rapport and mutual respect. And the thing about him battling cancer, he's been like all last year, as far as I know, he's been battling it. And I would never have known. But now it causes me to look at every comment he's made to me. And I think if he's made comments to you, that should filter some of the, like how you see the comments he's made. This dude had colon cancer and couldn't have pain medicine. I know that some people are like, well, yeah, don't get on the internet then and type comments. I get it. They should be better, but if they can't, we can be better still. Sean said, if I had daughters, I'd be pushing Kinsey's and Ashley's profile to them. Yeah. So comments like that. I also encourage people who out there, this is to those of you who aren't comfortable making comments and you're like, I don't have anything to say. I want you to know that if you watch a video and you like it, just commenting that you like the video goes a long way, because we who do this kind of thing get, I would say, and for me at least, it's at least 10-to-1 negative to positive comments. Okay? Because negative emotions tend to stir up, are more likely to spur you to take action than a positive emotion. But it doesn't have to be like that. So if you're watching this, and so shout out to you, Sean, first of all, for making that comment and kind of, giving Kinsey and Ashley their flowers. And I agree with you about how awesome they are. But yeah, if you're watching this, please, it doesn't have to be for me, even if you don't do it to me. If you got a content creator who you really like their stuff, please let them know. Let them know you appreciate their hard work. Kinsey said she's awesome. I followed her for a decade now. Oh yeah, Marissa is awesome. Carlos said, hurt people. Yes, 100%. We know this. It's just hard to remember it in the moment. Rex said the look on people who are detractors' faces when they meet you in person is priceless. Normally they begin backtracking quickly. Oh yeah, because a lot of times the people who do this stuff, again, okay, like I said, I don't want to be mean, but you think that somebody who's really got anything going on in their life is going to waste time on the internet trying to argue with you about something? They're not, because they got stuff going on in their life. They don't have time. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, so that's what I learned this week. Let's give each other some grace. And I specifically want to, this really ain't any of my business, but I'm talking about it right now. So actually, no, I'm not. Internet beefs are silly. Let's just say that, especially in the home gym community. They're silly. Okay? As much as possible, be at peace with everybody. If that person's not threatening your life, they're not threatening your livelihood, seriously, is it worth having beef because somebody likes a piece of equipment and you don't? I mean, seriously. Okay. All right. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you to my wife, Naomi, for joining me. And I'm so proud of her for her what she did in the triathlon. You guys, please go ahead and check out her video. I have tried to link all the products that we mentioned on the shopping button for this video. If not, they're in the description for this video, so you guys can check them out. Some of them are affiliate links, some of them are not. Just want you guys to have them. And then the links to the videos that we talked about, specifically Naomi's blog video of the triathlon recap, that's in the description for this video as well. So you guys go check all those out. Next, we've got another great show planned for you. 2 weeks from now, we're going to have Daniel Foster from Foster Fitness and Reviews. He's going to come and he's going to be doing a recap of FIBO. So you guys can look forward to that. Make sure you guys are tuning in every Monday to check out Mailbag Mondays. One of my goals is to get everybody who watches this show to watch that show. Because if you wake up way too early with me, you should be able to come check out a show at a reasonable hour at 3:15 for 30 minutes. All right? I hope to see all of you guys there. Until then, keep doing what you're doing. Keep stacking days. Peace out.